Snatched the streets, then I snatched the charts. First I had their ear, now I have their heart. Rappers came and went, I've been here from the start. I seen them put it together, watch them take it apart. See the rovers roll up with ribbons. I seen them repo, be sold, and be driven. So when I reload, heat hold #1 positions. When you hot, I'm hot. And when your feet cold, mine's a sizzling. It's plain to see. Niggas can't fuck with me, cause I'ma be that nigga for life. This is not an image, this is God-given. This is hard living mixed with crystal sipping. It's the most kissing from home. Give it emotion, you can fit inside a whole different. Nigga, I'm home on these charts, y'all niggas listening. It's home condition, check walking the rep. I'm back to claim pole position. Holla at your boy. Get up, I get. Get up, I get. Get up, I get. Get up, I get. Down for my grandfather who took my mama, made her sit in that seat where white folks ain't want us to eat. At the tender age of 6, she was arrested for the sit-ins. And with that in my blood, I was born to be different. Now niggas can't make it to balance to choose leadership, but we can make it to Jacobs or to the dealership. That's why I hear new music and I just don't be feeling it. Racism still alive, they just be concealing it. But I know they don't want me in the damn club. They even make me show ID to get inside a Sam's Club. I done did dirt and went to church to get my hands scrubbed. Swear I've been baptized these 3 or 4 times. And in the land where niggas praise you cons and getting paid, it's gonna take a lot more.
WIIFTV PM.
WIIFTVP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTVP. Media's just for you and me.
Jackson. If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap it?
Be like me said. Randy said a Jukathon Day.
Man, we're about 60 years old. I be done had a heart
You gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, that not that far.
All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't.
You don't like that? Yeah.
I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this thing.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool. I'm out.
How about National Join a Positive Black Organization Day? Because I don't want to be recruited. I don't want to be recruited and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth.
Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Yeah, man. Ideas, man. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you want to be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you want to be free. Let's go. Standing my ground, I can't mess around now. It's like my time is in a bottle, captured by your love, yeah. Now I know women's got this thing going on. We can't stay around so long, but I wanna come correct. Baby, get your foot off my neck. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind thee. Understand clearly, that you wanna be free. It's the time that you spend making me think within. It's the trust still beginning. Fade away from beginning of the day. I can see you trembling times, and I can see you wondering mine. Is it me considered? You just with it. See, you don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind thee. It's so clear to see, baby, that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind thee. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free, yeah. I'm just trying to be the best I can. You can call me the troubling man. Matter of fact, from the side of the street. Baby girl, you're calling on me at the time that I feel the presence around me. Something that I can't let go. It's your time, everything around me there. I just wanna hold on, but you don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind me. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. I just wanna come correct, best I can. Baby, get your foot on my neck. And just before you just leave, baby, I've been trying to tell you I can't breathe. You don't have to find me, baby, walking right behind me. It's so clear to see that you want me free. Damn pressure, baby. I just want
Move your body, don't nobody party like your body, pardon me, but I'm through. I got eyes on something that ain't you. I done seen how you move and heard about what you do. So I don't want no parts of that art. Hourglass figure, but not too smart. I done seen you with a couple of guys, couple of drinks, couple of hands all on your thighs. And I already see your next Vic. Free drinks and a couple of neck tricks. I'm not sure if you into it or into him, into deep or into them. All I know is in the interim, I have no interest to sink or swim. I can see the thirst on your face. Can't wait to catch it in the Me Too case. So I keep it moving in a 2-3 pace. Checking you ain't worth the deposit in that chase. You see my face. Yeah, you see my face.
I want somebody to love me for me. Happy, happy is where I wanna be. I want somebody to love me for me. Happy, happy is where I wanna be.
You're stumbling, wondering what to think. Approaching, fumbling, food and drink. Slurring and sweating like you stink. Even if I did your gender, we ain't in sync. Be original, don't follow the crowd. Dope fiend, lean, smelling like that loud. I'm looking at your friends and they ain't that proud. Knowing next time they hang, you ain't allowed. So stop giving me the googly eyes, or you gon' force me to tell you a few of these lies. My crew know the mission like 3 or 4 spies. Heard your guy tell you to chill, work to the wise. That hard liquor and bad food, a bad mood. So I'm a stiff arm sidestep a bad mood. I'm trying to live my life, not catch an attitude. Normally I'm nice, but I'm about to get rude. Move your body.
I want somebody to love me for me. Happy, happy is where I wanna be. I want somebody to love me for me. Happy, happy is where I wanna be.
WIFTBPM.
Uh-oh, what's in it for the black people?
You are listening to the most dangerous show. It's What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Todd Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. So many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA gets spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Lenders give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this is a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago! Oh, wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. On a Thursday. That's right. Wake up. Okay. Some people, it's funny because, I'm going to just tell y'all this. And then when I do the wake up, I tickle myself depending on how I do the wake up. Because there's a lot of split households who don't. Everybody doesn't watch the Maze Jackson. Like one spouse listens and one is like, it's 6:00. I'm retired. Why do I need to be up at 6:00 listening? And so when I do the wake up, they be like, when you do that wake up, you know, they have like, they probably sometimes, the 6:00 people have an agreement. So they go somewhere else. But even if they in the bathroom and I do, wake up!
You watching
then you be trying to jump to turn it down. So I got to start regulating the modulation of the modulation of the regulation of the modulation. Because people said they be running to their TV because they be having to turn it down. So I'm going to do better. I promise. But that wake up tickles me. It makes me laugh all the time. All right, y'all. It's the Maze Jackson Show on this Thursday, August 4th. Thursday, August 4th. Ruthie, slippery slope.
What you mean?
Once you get past the 6th, the 7th, the month be gone. The kids is gonna be mad than a mug. 3 weeks. They only got 2. They only got 2 weeks till it's time to hit the bricks, kids.
I know it's a lot of happy parents.
Why? No one. Parents don't want the kids first. Riis,
and shout out to all the parents that work from home now. So when they go back to school, you good.
Shout out to the COVID.
The little things.
Didn't we have this conversation yesterday about COVID? About schools and COVID. That's how I thought. I ain't gonna even trip. I think they did. I'm gonna say I think my son's school did a pretty good job of managing it. We did. We kind of.
Nobody knew what to do.
Sure, Mayor Lightfoot did. She got the penguins.
That was pre-COVID.
She got Ken Griffin's penguins.
So that don't count.
Is anybody gonna remember the Ken Griffin's penguins?
Didn't he take them with him when he left?
Nah, he said you keep all that shit.
He's taking the penguin. No, he gonna take them.
Like
Mr.
Florida.
Poppers. He's gonna be like Mr. Popper's Penguins. If y'all ever read that book.
No, I didn't. But
no, he gonna have him a nice freezer. I bet you he gonna have him a penguin habitat down in Florida.
Can I tell you what? If I was Ken Griffin, I had Ken Griffin money.
In
Florida, I would have
one of them Pablo Escobar estates.
Man, let me tell you, I would have a penguin room. It would be ice cold. I would never go in there because I hated it cold. But I would have everything. You could go experience within the realm of my home. You could experience all of the climates. I would have like lions and tigers and bears. Oh my,
that is extravagant.
I would. I'd be like, come for the feedings. And I'd be like, release the hounds. I'd be like, get the cow. Put a cow in there. Like, we used to do that. I told you when I was in college, we used to put the mice. And everybody would come in and watch us as we would feed the mice.
Why didn't y'all just do the dead ones?
Because it was funnier to see the little ones. The little ones with, like, no, you put it in there and they'd be... Because then, it'd be actually gross. And then the girls would be like, oh! It was all part of the whole shtick. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, Ruthie Moore, here on August 4th. Ruthie, how you feeling today?
Feeling all right on Thursday.
Blowing up. We got to get something for Thursday. Okay.
Thursday.
See, look, I got y'all blowing up. Thirsty. It's not thirsty. So I had it all. Just
got to keep it like it is. You can't be just trying to change it up.
Thirsty Thursday. So should it be Thirsty Comedy Thursdays? Like what?
As long as it's thirsty, you can do whatever you want.
Thirsty Thursday comedy show with. Do you have to have food with thirsty or just a drink? A drink.
It's just thirsty.
Thirsty.
That's it.
Thirsty. All right. Well, it's Thirsty Thursday right here on the Maze Jackson Show. And as always, it's not sponsored by the people who I buy a cup of coffee from. Although they have become fans of the show. And I gotta admit, it's kind of awkward some days.
I bet.
Because, we talk about a lot of controversial stuff. It'd be funny, too, because I'd be there in the morning, and, it'd be me and, like, one other person besides, like, the staff. And, I usually have on a pretty colorful shirt.
Oh.
And there's usually, like, a guy who used to, who looks like, You know, at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know the kind of people that's up working, right? They got boots with paint on them and.
What?
You know what? You know the guys that be working in the morning with the lunch pails.
Oh,
you know the lunch pail
okay.
guys that come from Indiana. And they be like, "What does that shirt?" So you know, like today, I got the shout out to Robin Patrice and my Black Power shirt, which I think is so cool. Mm-hmm. Really, even more so because of the power button.
That is.
That's what made it like, oh, activate. Yeah, dude was looking like.
He was getting coffee too.
Mm-hmm. Say that again.
I said he was getting coffee too.
Yeah, but you know, it's always that moment when they be reading the shirt and my coffee be ready first. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, y'all, it's the Mace Jackson Show. I'm being a little petty this morning, but I'm going to stop. All right, shout out to everybody over at the Dunkin' Donuts on Madison. No, they do me very well every morning. No more vacations, though. It's over. Nobody, I be ready to go on vacation, but don't want nobody else to go on vacation.
Always.
But like, how you gonna go on vacation? Don't you know? All right, it's the Mace Jackson Show. Let me say what's up to my man, DJ Riis the Ruler on the ones. Riis, hold on, man. I'm trying to check you out, dog. I've been noticing you. What you growing a fro or something, dog? You know, what's up? My man he ain't honoring. You better tell him you a star, man. Your public be looking for you when they come out. You
been chilling. You know, first of all, I'm blessed by the best. You already know the rest. But you know, I'm going out of town next week. So you know how you try to.
Where you going?
See, look, you don't remember me telling you, do you?
How long you going for?
Just a couple of days.
What days do you remember?
I'm gonna make some. You know, I gotta go. Nah, I gotta.
He state to state. Look, Riis got a side hustle on us. He got jobs out of state. He been look, Riis and brother Anthony and Devin gonna meet. They having a secret meeting of they started a new mafia. It's all good though. It's all good. Now, what's up, Riis? How you feeling, man?
Best by the best. You already know the rest. I'm good. It's Thursday. You know, it's feeling pretty good.
You saving up the haircut, huh?
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go. I don't feel like sitting in the barbershop too many times, but I'm gonna go ahead and next week, I'm gonna get my beard lined up tomorrow because I gotta go somewhere. But other than that,
wait, hold on. So you gotta go somewhere. So you gonna line up your beard,
right?
And you just gonna skip the haircut?
Yeah, you just get a whole thing with like a hairstyle. So I get my beard lined up for like $10-15. You know what I'm saying?
How much the cut cost?
Like 30, but you know I tip them, so it'd be like 35-40.
So haircut and shave is what?
Haircut and shave about 50.
Oh, dog.
Yeah, about 50.
What's his name again? I'm cool. I'm like.
That's like tip included, so you know what I'm saying.
I'm at 40.
Yeah.
I think I'm at 45. No, I feel. Actually, I don't even know how much I pay for a haircut. That's actually the case. Yeah. My barber just swiped, and I'd be like, thanks.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's okay, though, because, you know what? Here's what people, like, what happens is I go through, like, I've started just going through my bank statement. So if anything jumps out to me, I'll be like, that looks a little bit out of line, and then I'll do a little investigation. I will certainly go straight up to the bank or certainly call you up and be like, I don't understand how, and it's like, I'm random. So I might do it and be super deep, or one day I might glance. But boy, don't let me be like, nah. That's why I got to get that. What you call them people? What's the matter?
Are you just speaking about yourself?
Yeah.
I'll let you look, and then once you look, it's over with.
If I look and start asking questions, then I'm gonna be like, oh, hold on, let me mat this up.
You turn into an auditor.
I certainly do. Let me think. Now, if you got me for this time, and I ain't been looking, then let me go check this out. Yeah, I'm. Don't make me look. Don't make me look. Don't ever make me look. That's all I gotta say. This is the Mace Jackson Show. How you know about me? Don't nobody know about me. Don't be trying to act like y'all know about me. Lord have mercy. You trying to sound like Tennille. It's the Mace Jackson Show. I'm your host around here. I'm the boss. Care what nobody tried to tell y'all.
That you are.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Goodness gracious. All right, y'all. It's the Mace Jackson Show. Look, we all here, though. So let's get the soul plane off the ground. Let's get this thing up to 60,000 feet. We are up and away. Hey, yesterday, y'all, while we was sitting here, I got called to a meeting. You ever got called to a meeting? And y'all all think y'all in trouble? And, then and everybody like, who did it? Who did it? Who did it? Who did it? And then it'd be like, all right. Then, like the big boss, big boss. Now, you know I don't got no boss, but you know I got some pretty significant clients. And when a bazillionaire touches down, the whole world be like, excuse me. Mm-hmm. And it was like, so everybody was like, Maze, what we gonna do? And da-da-da-da. And dude was like, Maze, what you doing here? This ain't got nothing to do with you. I was like, why y'all put me in this like I was in trouble? I ain't have nothing to do with this. But you know, like when you about to get a whooping, so you want to get all your friends around, you don't want nobody to go home or something. Like you want, like, cause you don't think your parents gonna front you with somebody there. They be like, or your parents be like, okay. It's one or two ways they gonna respond. They gonna respond like, okay. They gonna say, Ruthie, it's time for you to go home because me and Maze got business. Or they be sitting around like. And you be like, please don't leave. Please don't leave. You want to spend the night? Please don't spend. You hope. It'd be like, don't ever leave. Just don't leave. So, yeah, it was funny. So, it was cool to have a stop, drop, and rolling in and be able to be like, not me. All right, y'all. Let's hit some of these headlines. First of all, Robert Cremo III. Are you all familiar? Mm-hmm. Robert Cremo III. Ruthie, I know you are. Riis, are you familiar with Robert Cremo III? Look at that. Bobby Cremo the third? Bobby Cremo? How about this one? Highland Park shooter. Got it. All right. Highland Park shooter Bobby Robert Cremo the third. 117 charges. He pleads not guilty to all. They said the 8-minute trial lasted longer than it took for him to kill all those people. 7 minutes longer. Because it only happened in a minute. Did you know that he was going to Wisconsin. He was trying to decide if he was going to shoot some other people.
He had another target, I thought.
Lord have mercy.
He came on back, though.
What's the deal with that?
I think he thought it was just the streets was probably too hot.
Dressed up? Man.
It didn't really seem like he wanted to off himself. Like, so he, like, I think he was like, okay, let me just go ahead.
I just be thinking, like let me just tell you. Well, see, and then you can't, the bad thing is, like, if you want to do one of those things, you got to really do it yourself, because if you white and you kill a whole bunch of people, you're not going to get killed by the police. They're going to bring you in.
They want to.
Right. They want to
get served.
No.
Like, just
they're going to bring, but they're going to bring you in. They got to take you to Burger King first.
Oh my God, like they did Dylan Roof.
Yeah, Dylan and all, everybody get a little, they get you some downtime. They give you prep time before you go in. Now, this may be different because it was not a lot of, let me stop. I'm going to quit. Let me just stop it now. I'm all ready. All right, y'all. Did you see the Bogus Government Association report on Mayor Lightfoot's crime lady? You should read that. So, Ruthie, go Google the Bogus Government Association, because I'm in the realm of, I believe now we have fake news in Illinois. So that bogus, aka better, and look at the story. Yeah, read that. So be ready to talk about that. Like, get the pieces and parts, because I'm here to tell you that was the most comprehensive dismantling of a person and their words that they spoke that I've seen in a long time. I was like, how long is this article?
It keeps going.
And going. But guess what it is? It's like all the lies, the corresponding lies. Like, that is a commercial. Like, if you just take the lady out and insert Mayor Lightfoot said this when this happened. And I just still can't remember. I'm just telling y'all, don't forget that TikTok with the penguins. Boy, y'all, these commercials. I just wish I had them. I wish somebody would just pay me to come up with take all the themes of all the things and say, if you put this, this, and this, and I don't want to do the commercial. I just want to tell you what the commercials could be, because golly,
plenty of them.
It's so many of them you can extrapolate. But you check out that article throughout the course. We're going to talk about it at about 7:30 because it talks about the anti-violence initiatives and the overblown status of them and how much credit the mayor gives them for what they really did. All right? Urban prep allegations. Yesterday we talked about Tim King being removed from urban prep and wanting to still continue at the foundation. Then later on we found out that there was a leaked report that he was released because of sexual misconduct allegations. Crazy. Crazy. As Devin said in the chat, leave the kids alone. Then, Ruthie, so I want to, okay, all right, I would like to talk about this conversation at 7 o'clock from two perspectives. One, the perspective of protecting the child. Two, what appears to be acceptable engagement age-wise. Okay, so when I look at this Tim King story, I don't look at it as if there was a child who claimed harm. I look at it as a person who kept a file. And I look at it as, yesterday I told you if I was looking at this, I would be if I was a charter operator, I would be looking to buy Urban Prep or take it over or bring it under my management because it still has a budget attached to it. It still has a brand, etc. Now, and I also think that it would probably, if Tim King was able to hold on to at least the fundraising component of it, he would still be able to have a piece of his legacy. But when I want you gone, then I pull the file. And so I want to talk about it politically. I want to talk about it socially, morally, ethically. Because I really think, as I was reading the story, then I think that there's this acceptance of age difference when it's male to male. Right? Like, I think, and I don't really want to go too far down this path, but I do feel like, and I feel like there's a law in California too, that ordinarily the age difference would be criminal, but there is not so much a criminal element when it's an older man with a younger man. Like how that could be viewed as statutory and I don't feel like that's the way they're pushing it in this case. And I do feel like, and I want to look up the law. Somebody look up, maybe you could do this too for me. Look up the law in California where they were decriminalizing the same-sex age difference, so you couldn't be prosecuted for having a younger person because they were finding themselves, etc. And so there's a lot twisted in that story that I want to talk about. We could talk about it a little bit later, but I do think that the sexual allegations make it very difficult for you to ever recover from or try to make a play to come back. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'll finish the headlines plus the social media question of the day. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, Ruthie Moore, and Riis. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break. Maze Jackson.
Tune in to the Maze Jackson Show every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m., where you can catch us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Plus, from 6:30 to 8, you can get us on WBGX 1570 AM. That's right, it's the Maze Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them, Maze said. We out of here. Peace.
Hey, Chicagoland, all roads lead to Solo Beauty Supply, the largest black-owned beauty supply in Chicago. We carry a large selection of natural hair care products, plus much more. So come see us at one of our two locations, located at 9011 South Ashland or 8158 South Cottage Grove. Our inventory is growing, and with your support, Solo Beauty will continue to be a source of pride in our community.
And now, traffic and weather.
Yo, who said devotion has to be sad? Yo, check this out. The Lord is my shepherd, and I want. He's making me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. God's gonna turn it around.
Come all the way with me.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 6:38 a.m. I'm Riis the Ruler with your Chicagoland area sports traffic and weather update. In baseball, the White Sox will beat the Royals 4-1. The Cubs had a rain delay, so it will be made up. Let's move over to traffic on the Kennedy. O'Hare to the Loop will be 23 minutes. Outbound will be 18 on the Edens. Inbound from Deerfield to the Exchange and back will be 28 minutes. On the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop, 36 minutes. 29 minutes back out to Thorndale. On the Stevenson from I-355 to the Dan Ryan will be 34 minutes. Outbound will be 30. The Bishop Ford, I-80 to the Dan Ryan, 32 minutes, 26 minutes to I-80. On the Dan Ryan, it's 16 minutes to the Loop, 12 minutes to 95th. On DuSable Drive South, 55th to Jackson and back will be 7 minutes and 8 minutes north Randolph to Bryn Mawr and Bryn Mawr to Randolph. Today's weather, it is currently 75 and cloudy. Today will be a high of 80 with a low of 73. I'm Riis the Ruler. Happy Thursday here on The Maze Jackson Show.
To the green, from the green, back to glory. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Come all the way with me. Don't leave me now. Come all the way with me. Please.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, Ruthie Moore, in the building. Yes, there are the WBEZ. This is all based off of a WBEZ report that I saw in Chicago Sun-Times. But they said they have not seen the report, but sources close to. Let me just say this. I'm going to say that generally sources close to means that you got a copy of the report. But I told you, if you pass this out, I can't let you. You can talk about it all day long, but if you show it, then they gonna know you got it from me, right? So, but I think there's a larger effort, and I'll talk about it because I want to talk about this at 7 o'clock. Because right now, I gotta say what's up to the Saints of WBGX 1570 AM, who have been tuning into us, join us at 6:30 every day, and they stay till 8. They listen to us on Big Gospel Express. That's right, WBGX 1570 AM. You can give us a call every day at 872-259-7474. 872-259-7474. Now, if you are one of the sinners, you get here at 6 and you stay till 9, and you check us out every day, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Now, you can also get us on the TuneIn app as well. That's right. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, Ruthie Moore, and DJ Riis the Ruler. And if you just tuned in, you are probably like, what are they talking about? Well, apparently there are allegations of sexual misconduct which are now being alleged against another black. What do you call a person like a Tim King? Like what category do black people in that space fit? Like, you know, where they have, it's like another, I don't want to call it another black superhero, but another one of those people that you put in front of us as a stalwart of our community, and you watch their demise. And this, to me, Ruthie, is the keep a file. This is the classic case of keeping a file, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. Okay? Keeping a file. Because this is all old stuff that's alleged. This ain't new. This person is gone and graduated. So y'all knew this 16, so at least 2 years ago you knew this. Right?
I mean, he went through an investigation.
Starting June 30th of this year. The investigation was June 30th this year. Well, the report came out this year, June 30th. It was probably part of the Inspector General report that comes out quarterly. And then when it comes out on that annual report, then they released it.
Okay, so in a letter sent home to parents Friday, a CPS official wrote that the district's Inspector General had opened an investigation into an unnamed administrator at Urban Prep in the spring of 2021 for allegations of inappropriate conduct with the student.
Got it. So 2021. But the student was
Inspector General.
Right. So that means that it was probably the quarter before it reported. Well, it could have been an ongoing relationship. Not ongoing relationship. Freudian slip. Anyway, we're going to talk about all of that at 7 o'clock or somewhere in the 7 o'clock hour, because I want to pioneer. Very good. There you go, Hope. Pioneer. Educational pioneer in the space of charter schools, which we got to do an analysis of that at some point too. All right. 7 o'clock. Speaking of schools, though, this is just how far out of touch I am. Or, when did it become a thing that we celebrated a librarian in a school getting a librarian, much less a high school? So King High School, yes, that King High School just got a librarian. Did you know that a librarian is at the discretion of the principal? What principal says, no library?
Librarian. You can get people to run a library that ain't a librarian. They think a librarian is somebody that specializes in a certain thing. And
so they just have a book person that just...
Likely so. A system to check out the books themselves that's probably digital, that you just boop, 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 scan the barcodes. So do you really need a person?
Yes.
Now, if the librarian specializes in research, that sort of thing, then, or like library science, then yes. Otherwise, no. You just need somebody to scan and check them books out.
How do you know what books to even look for?
But that's what I'm saying. Internet?
No.
Like, what do you mean?
How did you find the Boxcar Children? How did you find Encyclopedia Brown? When you was a kid, who told you about it?
You look in the little thing and you flip through and you see where it's
the card catalog.
You ask the librarian. But nowadays, you scanning barcodes for the most part.
I'm saying you got to know what barcode to even scan.
I like library science. I'm into it. Because it goes into research. I like research.
But don't you go to the library and say, "Hi, I want to read a book."
What was your interaction with your librarian at your school?
Man, I talk to the librarian once a week. I used to go there to be like, what books can I, what else is in the series? Or what else is like this? Or I like Indians, so can you tell me what books I should read for Indians? And whatever, when it was paper, when I used the librarian like the internet back in the day. If there was anything that I didn't know, but again, I went to go read a book for it. Like the whole book, not the video. So I just realized, I guess I'm just, I do feel like a library is like where you get unlocked the keys to the world. And I do feel like I spent so much time at the library, like in school and out of school. Like when I wasn't at the school library, I went to Fountaindale. Because what else was I going to do when I was in the bathroom? But read. I don't know. Okay, so I guess you're not shocked that they didn't have a librarian? Okay. Riis, you?
Sadly, no.
Okay. Riis, did you have a librarian?
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a librarian.
At Prosser?
No, in grammar school too. We had actually
okay.
Right. Did you talk to library?
It was just like
I'm just curious, like what was library time like?
You know what, to be honest, in the library we never checked in my grammar school, we never checked the book out.
We had to read a book a week. We had a library. Now I will be honest with you, this was part of being in challenge, but we literally had a library class once a week.
Yeah.
Where we had to go, they were like, you're gonna pick a subject, whatever it is, you're gonna find something and your butt is gonna read it. I don't care what it is. Like it could be fiction, it could be nonfiction, it could be matter of fact from third grade. Yep.
We had a program called Accelerator Reader where you would read books and take tests on them, and you can accumulate points and get stuff.
Pizza.
Points. So that was one use for the library, is if you was into Accelerator Reader and you wanted to accumulate those points.
The library just a break for my teacher in grammar school.
That's all it was. Was you take them in there, you can't talk.
There 40 minutes,
you gotta pick a
teacher
book.
chilling.
How I'm gonna
she come back and get you. Yeah, that's all it was. In grammar school, she dropped you off for 40 minutes, and 45 minutes. Came back and got you.
And you can't talk.
In my library, we really didn't even do no real work. Like if it was Halloween, we may take the word Halloween and see who could make as many words out of it, and then you win a treat.
Puzzles.
You know what I'm saying?
Worksheets.
It really was stuff like that.
Y'all wasn't up and down the aisles man. I just used to walk down. I used to be so amazed at the library just to walk down the aisles and see all the different kinds of books of stuff that it was. Dang, I used to be at Fountaindale, I remember when, say we, cause in school, in the library, they would read a chapter of part of our library would be, the librarian would select a book, and they would read a chapter of it, and then the next thing you know, everybody was trying to find that book, and then we'd all be trying to read it, or buy it, or what, man.
We did that. There were some books that people were really into that you couldn't really check out, and
no, we had the little thing. So so we never checked it out. I think my library was like half of this stuff like that. It was just like a room where they just put it in there, organize it like a nice big like a house library, But it was for real. It wasn't like a big old library but yeah, so
you didn't have aisles that you walked up and down. And...
No, it was no aisles. It was open in the middle.
Did y'all have computers? You had a computer lab?
Yeah, we had a computer lab. It was a couple of computers.
It wasn't even no computer.
Couple. Riis, stop playing.
I'm for real. It was a couple of computers in a computer lab.
We ain't have no computer.
Well, yeah.
Remember I'm Apple IIe, yo. Yeah. We didn't get a computer till I got in 8th grade. That was the first Apple that was 6th, 7th, 8th. Anyway, man. So I guess So the library was a very important part of my life. So, man.
We had them little things that we had, Ruthie. I don't know if you had them, but they brought the little sheet and we got to buy our book off the sheet. You remember that?
My God. Yeah, my parents would, that's why I used to get good grades, because the only way my parents would get Scholastica.
Yeah,
right? Scholastica, and then was the other one.
That's the only time.
And you could fill out, man, and that box would come, and the teacher, and they would have your list of books, and the teacher would read your, and you'll be like, man, and it'd be the people who got books all the time, and then it'd be the people.
That was expensive.
So that was traumatic. That's why I went to go. That's why I got. You want to know why, Ruthie? I remember Miss Ruppel so much because she tried to take my books.
Why? Because you was reading them in class?
No, because remember, the person that got the best grade point average got to get books. You got to order your favorite 4 books out the thing, and she was trying to cheat me out the books. and tried to give it to Mike Monfils and David Searchup. 4th grade, I'll never forget it. Never. She did my grades like 3 times on the board in front of everybody. I was like, what part of 98 don't you understand is more than 94? Why are we doing this? I'm winning in every... Anyway, it's the Maze Jackson Show. Let me stop. Anyway, libraries are very important. Well, they were. I remember going to the library and being mad that we didn't have because you couldn't check out the encyclopedias. So my parents bought me a set of encyclopedias to be in the house. I'd be like, poor encyclopedias. I remember it was a dude that used to sell encyclopedias. And the internet killed that. The internet killed so many things.
Yeah, we used to just have ours at our house. Like, that's our real papers. Like, we had
encyclopedias. Yeah, we had a set.
Yeah. Man.
I know.
I want to get the old encyclopedias and see what's wrong now.
Everything.
Right. But like, think about everything you learned and you be like, yeah, that's
why the internet is so powerful.
Until the internet be putting up some bogus stuff. It's powerful in so many ways for information and disinformation. Abortion rights measure wins big in Kansas, 47% turnout. Unexpected, and Kansas was one of the extreme abortion states. They were trying to pass a law that would allow ban all abortions essentially in Kansas, and the people showed up in Kansas and was like, hell no. Look at that. Hey, they said they hope that it reverberates. I think they hope it reverberates around the country. Be interesting to see if it drives turnout. Oh, Ruthie, here go your girl. Did you see his story that the Columbus statues are coming back?
What? She got to put up the stuff for the vote.
Nick Spazzato put on. So Ron Anesti, who is the guy who is running the Italian joint, says he wants them up by Columbus Day so that they could celebrate. He wants 24-hour security, police security around it, etc. He said he wants cameras and he wants distance. Now, these are all starting points, he said. I'm all cool with that, right? I'm not cool, but I'm just saying. So that's what he said.
And the mayor said, yeah?
Well, the mayor didn't say anything, but Nick Spazzato said that he doesn't mind if she does it. He understands the election just as long as she gets him up, like she said. So she just got to wait for y'all till after. But it's all good.
They probably would just need to put real high fences around it.
All I'm saying is I'm just saying
they can have private security, not paid for by the taxpayers, maybe paid for by the Federation of Columbus people.
I just think it's amazing that nobody is saying like that she gonna put the bad boys back up.
No, probably
Go ahead,
not.
get the cake. Where's it at?
I mean, I think that's one of those things that puts the mayor in one of those. Everybody want to put her in certain like positions to like force her hand, and y'all know she don't do well when y'all be trying to put that level of pressure on her. So she ain't finna put them statues back up because he said something. She said she'll do it, so you need to be waiting until she do it.
She gonna do it after, and Nick Spazzato blew the whole thing though.
Nick, you talking out of turn. You messing it up.
Nick,
you know what? Nick, you better stop playing.
I swear to God, I love Nick Spazzato because he is.
He got to advocate for his people though, so when it comes, he could be like, I said something.
Nick Spazzato is a straight up white guy.
Everybody jockeying,
and he be like, "Look, I'm white. I'm straight up. Like I don't make no bones about it." He was like, "You're a nice person, but you're black, and I can't. If my part of the neighborhood, like."
I like people that are loyal to their constituents.
I like Nick Spazzato. Look,
like, you supposed to like.
I like Nick Spazzato.
It be seeming extreme because you gotta be extreme with it. Like, and it be seeming so extreme to me. Like, but you gotta be extreme when you represent your constituents. That way, it ain't you. You could just say it's my constituents. He just represent his people, and I ain't mad at him for it.
I really do like Nick Spazzato. He is the straightest shooter. Like he really is like a funny dude to talk to. I love doing TV with him, right? And quiet as it's kept. Like he probably would get a lot of letters if he did a show too. Like he probably would get, but he wouldn't even care. He would be like, "Come on, you lefties." Oh my God. But Nick was like, "Look, I don't care when you do it. I know I understand elections. So do it afterwards. But my thing is, he just blew. That's what I was saying. He just blew the whole thing.
You can't tell a man what to do. Now she gonna be like,
well, he didn't do it. Rana Nesty did it. He was just saying like, look, like you know how you be like, don't tell nobody.
She gonna compromise and like give him a plaque or something.
She putting them statues back up. She just waiting till after the election, and I'm gonna be laughing at y'all.
Maybe if she do wait till after the election, then that's that might be a little bit better. But they trying to get her to do it before.
So y'all, I thought y'all wanted the statues down permanently.
People ain't finna let them statues go back up without saying something.
They be talking. They be quiet. They be talking again.
It's all fun and games until somebody vandalize it.
That's why
they gotta spend police work and police power figuring out who threw the paint on the Columbus statue.
All in election year. All right, did you see the story about the 13-year-old girl who got struck by lightning at Garfield Park? That's crazy. I was just reading in Chicago Magazine. They have like all of the weather people in Chicago. They did an article, and they said what stands out to the most to you in your career as a weather person, and they said somebody getting struck by lightning. They said they are profoundly different forever, and they can never really figure out all the pieces and parts. But it's like, imagine sending a electric volt through an electric power surge through a computer, and it activates all types. They said you like your sweat burns.
Oh my goodness!
They were like, you can feel your blood cooking in some case. It was just the story.
It make me think of that movie Powder.
Never saw it.
You've never seen that? I just knew you seen Powder. No,
is that the guy that I didn't see it? Like I wouldn't watch it though.
Why not?
Cause I don't like stuff with like stuff. Like if like so I'm not trying to be funny, but like first of all, I don't like no weirdo movies. I don't want no psycho spiritual, none of that. I don't want no poltergeist. I don't
even like that.
This man said he don't like to watch no weirdo movies and come and tell us he watched Euphoria and P-Valley. I am gone right now.
Hey man, I partially watch P-Valley. Like I partially watch P-Valley, and I just feel like I'm in shock when I watch Euphoria. Like, wait, I'm confused right now. What is happening here? And I'll be honest with you, like I only understand a part of Euphoria. But did you see the one, Riis, speaking of Euphoria really quickly, did you see the one where she was running the whole show? Where do you watch Euphoria though? Okay,
that's the funniest show.
That show right there made me say Zendaya, that was one of the best. Oh my God, she should win an Oscar for that, an Emmy for that. All right, y'all, it's the Mace Jackson Show. I think I got 100 billion. Check this out. Did you know that the gas and oil companies have made record profits during this energy crisis? $100 billion in profit. Check this out. You know what I think is going on? They see their demise and they're cashing out, right? As the electric vehicle move goes, it's like they are saying, okay, hey, Joe, man, the tip is about to run out. We got to blow up. Look, in a minute, this product ain't going to be worth nothing. So we got to get as much of it out as we can. And then if we decide to jump into the electric, we can. If not, we got generational wealth to move on into other places. But I was just thinking, like, how is it that we have a shortage and they're making them? Like, I was under the impression that the prices were that because we had a shortage. The prices are that because they driving a shortage. They're leveraging all of the other components, but I think it's a big play to cash out. It just seems so obvious to me now as we think about the electric industry and now how government is shifting. And when you think about the history of, we could have had electric cars years and years and years ago, but that industry said no.
They shut it down.
Right. And so understanding that now, that's crazy. Also, the salt.
Oil is too political.
Is it?
it's falling on the other side of the political spectrum.
Oh,
it's like environmental. It has to do with the war. It's about supply chain.
And they killed the journalists.
Price gouging, journalism, like you said, all of the
Khashoggi. They chopped them up in pieces. And Joe, let me stop.
No, that and you saw but Biden
was like,
dapped him up.
Huh?
Now that is actually a very interesting story.
That's a
people are
crazy story.
Are into
that story is crazy.
If you're into stories, like actually, I would just recommend watching a short video about it. Khashoggi and the journalists.
I just watched the part when watched the part when he went in there. Like, first of all, I was like, dog. Okay, you done talked smack about the crown prince. That was dumb to me.
He felt like he was in a whole different country though.
Femo, you was in a whole different country that we control. They took him out in pieces. Yeah, they put him in
got the audio of it.
Oh, I didn't listen to the audio.
I mean, you could go really because it's because it was bugged. Turkey had bugged the embassy. Obviously, every
embassy is bugged,
so they have the audio. So that they used a surgical saw to cut him up. Crazy, right?
Man.
But I mean, the Saudis got that money.
First of all, they blew up the towers and and George Bush flew them home.
They got that money.
Everybody get on the plane. Meet me in Texas.
That oil money. So it goes into what we talking about with the gas. Like,
Lord Jesus, Lord have mercy.
But Khashoggi, he was like on a quest to like create like this network of like journalists. Like, it's this concept. You know how like people will form like groups and then like all release news and stuff at the same time.
Yep.
So they
like anonymous sort of.
So like so it's like called like swarming. So he was like trying to create, like he was a part of creating one of those groups. So you can imagine, it's like, okay, we got to take him out. You getting other people on to this level of journalism for exposing this stuff, and y'all all finna do it together. And you know all our business.
And you know why he know all y'all business though, right? Because he was on the team. He was the number one communications dude till he wasn't the number one communications dude. And he crossed the chief. And when he crossed the chief was like, oh, you want to cross me? And come back up in the embassy? We got this surgical saw for you. Whew, that was a lot. All right. Yep, that's it for the headlines. Look, we're gonna when we come back, I do want to do the social media question of the day. So look, let's take a quick break. Reese, you can go ahead and take us to the top of the hour, and then when we come back, we will still do the social media question of the day. Plus, I want to talk about what happened at some viewpoints that we may not be considering with urban prep. Yeah, all of that and more. Plus, area codes. I know this sounds crazy, but like, what? So I feel like, what area code do you represent? But also, like if you could pick any area code in the Chicagoland area, what would you pick? That's a little later, but that's not the social media question. I tell Tennille, anytime we get a phone or whatever, get 312. You get 312 that says Chicago. But then I saw somebody yesterday on social media didn't say 773 like there was no 312. Like they didn't know that there's people who didn't realize that 312 was the original. It's 773. It's not. That's crazy because I remember 312 when 312 was the whole area code. Then I remember when 312 and 773. Then I remember 312, 773, 708. Then I remember 312, then I remember, listen to me, then it was 630. Then after 630 was 847. Then after 847, it was 872. Now they got another one coming. Now, I wouldn't ordinarily count this one, but because of Ruthie, I'm going to throw 815 in there too.
That is a very nice area code.
It's 331, I think, too. It's crazy.
It's 331. That's the new one. That don't count. That ain't even in that. Don't nobody look. If you don't even know, So I want to talk about that too a little bit later, just for fun. 773 all your life. I've been 312. I've been 773. I've been 708. I've been 630. I had a job in 847. I came to prominence in 847 when I had the Coca-Cola money.
847? That sounds like bill collector.
That's the north. That's north. That's like Niles.
Bill collectors. Okay.
Not Lake County, but like Highland Park and all of that. Like if you take 94 and you go up north, past Chicago, north of Chicago. Anyway, all of those 708. Look at that. You see, 312 is though Chicago. 312 is Chicago. I remember though when I heard Ludacris say 312 773, like 773. I was like, Dad, what y'all 773's been doing in the world to become famous too? Because I do think it's some people in the world that think 773 is Chicago.
I think 312. I be thinking like downtown. Like, yeah.
312 is Chicago.
Yeah, downtown, right? It's like downtown. You know what I'm saying? It's like you leave 312. You like, oh, you downtown.
Well, part of that's why I do say 312. So like when people think of it, we got our office downtown. You call 312. Oh, you on the Riverwalk? Why, yes. Don't you see her? This is the Maze Jackson Show. Look, y'all, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back after these messages.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break. Maze Jackson.
Caller, you on the Maze Jackson Show? What's up?
Hi, this is Katie. How are you?
Hey! Okay, hold on. I'm going to make an official nomination right now that we make Katie the new president of the phone club. Reese, can I get a second from you, man?
I second it.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. Everybody tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. If you vote that Katie should be the new president of the phone club, please signify by saying aye. The ayes have it. Congratulations, you are now the new president of the phone club. Katie from Ashburn.
We did it. We did it. You're going to be the next president.
How you doing, boss lady?
Thank you. Fine. Thank you. I accept that nomination. Thank you.
All right. You got drafted.
Maze Jackson.
It's the Maze Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.
Thoughts in my mind, gotta designate what to leave, what to take, and appreciate. A lot of people talk fly, but I levitate. Rise above with the love when I meditate. When I meditate. I roll with God cause he never late. My son dialing denial up in Ben Franks. On the road, let's travel with a full tank. Revolutionary overture, that's too saint. That's too son. That's two saints. Like Peter Paul, me and you could be the new saints. Let me paint a new picture on the 16. Woolly haired black man with divine genes. Yeah, I be rapping, but these 16's art. Cathartic, therapeutic, really who needs charts? All I need is heart, God's love and some knowledge. Acknowledge, don't acknowledge, I'd be good to be honest. It's like, if you never knew my name, at least I know me. Broken chains on my brain, now I'm set free. At peace in the now, I'm complete. Cause all I ever had to do is just be. Just be. Lot of thoughts in my mind, gotta designate what to leave, what to take, and appreciate. A lot of people talk fly, but I levitate. Rise above with the love when I meditate.
To the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
We need money and no symbolism. It's Maze and Riis and Ruthie and Ty explaining how we all come from God, giving us to beat the odds. If we united, our movement gon' stop. If they ain't trying to help us, they ain't trying to do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect you oppressed to solve wrong.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, Ruthie Moore. Got my boy, Riis the Ruler, in the building. I'm about to be telling y'all, uh-oh. Hold on, y'all. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So, this is gonna be an interesting show. Get the phone calls ready. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Did I get through all the headlines? Riis, I'm gonna blend this next hour together with the social media question of the day, and then I want to talk about this thing that's going on. So, Riis, why don't you go on and hit the button, because I'm ready. It's about time for...
It's time for the social media question of the day.
Where is the black court of public opinion? Where is the black court of public opinion? Hold on. Where is the black... Okay, sorry. Where is the black court of public opinion? My question... That's not me. Is... in compromising situations in the black community, how do we decide which position we as a community are going to take? Because I'm not sure that there is a forum or a black court of public opinion, we often find individuals who insert themselves in the gap for personal gain, but employing themselves as representatives of the black community. So oftentimes what we find is that when transgressions have occurred against black people, there are individuals who take the mantle in the march to forgiveness or to guide what the black sentiment will be. But I don't necessarily think that they always have the best interests of the black community. They oftentimes have the best interests of the opportunity.
Oh.
Right. It's not the best interest of the community. It's the best interest of the opportunity that it presents. So what you find is that oftentimes when a high-profile black figure or white figure, but I'm going to use black figure in this case, has transgressed, there is usually some person, oftentimes a spiritual advisor, who marshals them back into our space and then activates our years of oppression, repression, watching injustices happen to leverage those injustices into mobilizing our community as a force field around people who have not done right by us collectively because of systemic racism that we've seen. We don't feed them to the wolves. Robin Kelly was a perfect example of this, right? Where she ain't really, I'm going to get out of Robin Kelly. I'm going to leave it alone. But where is the court of the black court of public opinion? So I'll give you another case. And this is not shade, but this is an example. So I'll use R. Kelly as an example. Do you remember when R. Kelly, when the first allegations came out, and not the first trial, not the second trial, the first one with the tape with the little girl with the the first one. And remember, he went on BET, and there was a lot of people, and then he had a pastor, local pastor, who then inserted himself as the spiritual advisor. And because of our respect of the community pastor and the repentance and the whole thing, he was able to kind of brunt the blow for what should have been seen if put in the court of public opinion, black court of public opinion, not black court of individual opinion. There perhaps would have been a different outcome, not necessarily reliant upon white justice. So I want to ask you, give us a call, 872-259-7474. Where is the black court of public opinion? An opportunity for you to plead your case. Oftentimes then here's what happens. Then we're forced to defend a black person from a lynching that in some cases they may deserve. Where do we give an opportunity to plead a case? Because what's going to happen is, upon advice and consent of my lawyer, I'm not allowed to talk. So you ain't going to answer no questions, and then we got to run to the front, and then it shows, then there comes out, you was carrying a bag of videotapes of underage sex. But we've been standing up here defending it, and now we got to keep on defending it because we done went out the limb because you wasn't honest about who you were with us. So now you hire a white lawyer who tells you to rely on your blackness, who tells you that this is incredulous, that a black man would be blah, 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 or a black woman would be blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to be the first one to be on your team. Because I'm not going to bring a rope to the lynching only to find out that you was actually kicking it. You was actually potentially participatory of what you were accused in. Now the whole black community who has now stood for you or stood as a shield for you is now got egg on our face. Where do you plead your case to the black community? Where do you go? What forum, what opportunity do you have to tell your story? And obviously I know there's legal ramifications, but Jesus Christ, there's legal ramifications for not having black cell. So is there a forum? Is there a place? Is there somewhere where you can come to and say, look, y'all, I didn't do this. So this is, I can't tell you the details, but I can tell you I didn't do it, please, whatever. See, I feel like we don't make people activate the black defense. They just assume it. So you don't ever have to, like, when you're black and in trouble, and this is me, right? Mm-hmm. I'm never gonna bring a rope to the lynching. But you've been hanging black people for you committed a violation. But because of my commitment not to kick you to hurt nobody while they down, we find ourselves in this position where we find ourselves defending people that have harmed us. Where do black people go to plead their case to black people? See, I just think that, and I'm going to tell you, white lawyers, black people going to hire a white lawyer who is going to tell you, you need to go get all the black people on your side. Now, he's going to get paid for that. And we all going to be standing up there defending you because we know what racism has done to so many of us. But what happens when you bogus? When do we know to defend? Or to sit back? Or to have our own system of justice? Like, to me, I feel like I'm going to use Robin Kelly. I would much rather have us have had a forum to discipline Robin Kelly to make sure that she's clear than to let all of them people embarrass her nationally.
That's real.
I would much rather take a black whooping and then come outside knowing that I got your back than and pay the price. I transgressed. And let us decide what your fate is. And I don't know who us is or what. But like, I feel like when you think of like certain communities, they have a council of elders. Right? A group of wise people who have been through stuff. I don't know. Do you remember, maybe you tell your story. There used to be a time when I'm gonna sit down with Charles Thomas, and Charles, I'm gonna give you the exclusive interview. And I'm going to look in the camera and I didn't do this. Now, we can all look at me, and it has to be a trusted source. But I just don't think that you get to just assume black defense. You have to activate it. And there's got to be somewhere where you can go, or we go and we say, we with this, we not. If kids was harmed, Femo, I ain't got nothing for you. Man. Now you can either let us do it or they do it. But if you mess with the kids, it's just what it is. And I feel like what happens is when you don't do that, then people feel okay to transgress against our own community. So then we have predators amongst us that we are defending as they are preying upon us. Does that make sense at all? Like, how do we get to a point where we say we with you? Nah, fam, that wasn't justified. And I don't know that there's consequences and repercussions, but there is no inner black. Anybody black, regardless of what it is, like we will defend an acts of think about it. We defend people who shoot up our own neighborhoods because of the because at the same time that we know that person is going up, we also know, just like they released a report, that Chicago police are 5 times more likely to stop and search a black car than anybody else. So understanding that we ought to, even if you are a murderer and you shot up our own neighborhood, what plays in our mind is, damn, Joe, but you know he ain't gonna get a free shot. You know he gonna get a bogus trial. And then you can rationalize it because you say, well, he did whatever, but we know the system is racism. They took Dylan Roof to go get Burger King. We got to at least hope that this guy gets a fair shot. So we wind up defending our transgressors. It's one thing to me, like I used to be more fearful of, hey cuz, do y'all understand when I went to jail? I stayed in jail because I didn't want to call my parents. Now, think about now that's 2 ways, but there was a level of discipline that was instilled that, man, I went across the bumper rails. They told me this was the consequence. Now let me get myself out of here because I don't really want to be here again. But we don't have guardrails, and this goes back to the code. But like, fam, that's why in the court of public opinion, black opinion, fam, if you shot and you killed kids, you cooked. Like, there is no, I don't care about you. I realize all the bad. So somewhere in the black court of public opinion, we can take into consideration that you had a terrible life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you still gonna take this ass whooping. Or you definitely gonna take this, right? Like, there has to be some way for us to deal with our own issues without having to join the lynch mob. Is somebody knocking on the door? We ain't got no guest schedule. Hello? You got your pistol? Thank you very much, Riis. This is the Maze Jackson. Look at Riis. It's the Maze Jackson show. Don't nobody coming in. I ain't got no scheduled guests. It's the Maze Jackson show. So I guess my question becomes, Ruthie, am I crazy to be thinking about a disciplinary system? Yes? No? What's going on? Who? Big O. Paul, who?
Tamiko.
I thought that's today. Oh, I thought it was, wait, what? Hold on. All right, anyway, look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson show. So my question becomes, do we have a black disciplinary system? Do we have our own court of public opinion where we can have these questions answered? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. They don't want no problems. They don't want none of that. The reason I ask this is because, Ruthie, I don't know if you saw, well, I know you saw because we talked about it, this situation with Chicago Urban Prep. Tim King, honored as education hero, pioneer. I think there was a time in Chicago when he was the education superstar. Like the face of the charter movement. Yesterday we reported that Tim King was being relieved of his duties at Urban Prep because of economic issues. In that, we talked about the fact that he was looking to hold on as the he was being dismissed as the chairman of the board of the school and foundation, but that he had wanted to stay on at the foundation. Then later on in the day, it was reported that there were allegations of sexual misconduct. In which, what did that say? That he was banned, that Tim King has been banned from CPS property, schools, programs, and has been placed on the do not hire list as the head of Urban Prep. I think that it is so there's a lot to it, and it goes into my question of how do we decide in the court of public opinion, in the black court of public opinion? Because my premise is that, I don't bring rope to a lynching, but I do think this is a very important conversation. And I think it's so important, really, because of the level of trust that we put in for our children and the choices that it seems that it's forcing us to have to make. Because under no circumstances, Ruthie, can I defend.
I think it depends on what you do, and
what you do as far as what
to have to be placed on trial in the court of public opinion. And I think the interesting thing about the black court of public opinion, in my opinion, is that if you seeking the forgiveness route, you go to black church. If the court of public opinion is condemning you, telling you ain't right, that's black social media.
Ooh, go ahead, Ruthie. Go ahead. So, go ahead, Ruthie. Look, what you was over there doing? You like, I'm smart. I read. I've been to the library.
Popcorn for a fundraiser.
You trying to... So let me ask y'all. How do we deal with a situation like this? Like, I got to tell you, Urban Prep. So can I tell you what I saw, Ruthie? Now, first of all, there's a couple things. First of all, they want to emphasize that there was no criminal charges. Oh, and my bad, at 8 o'clock, we're going to be talking about CPS. Not CPS, CHA. And what is going on over there, because there's a lot going on. That's why Tamiko's here. I forgot. My bad. And then she'll be back tomorrow with the family of Treasurer Hendricks. It's been a year. Ruthie, this Tim King thing is a problem, or is an interesting concern. There's so many components of this conversation that I think we want to talk about, and I don't know. Can we talk about it here, or no? Can we talk about it? Let me just ask this. Do we want to talk a little bit about what happened? Let me just tell you what I see politically. What I see politically is Tim King had a chance to walk away clean. Not clean.
Under the guise of something else.
There you go. He had a chance to walk away under the financial mismanagement guise. But because he did not walk away from it in the financial mismanagement guise, what most people know you cannot come back from is allegations of sexual abuse, especially when it deals with young people, with youth, with someone underage. And so now understand that what I saw, Ruthie, was the urban prep allegations of sexual misconduct being pulled out of a file. In that, I feel as though there was already people knew. If these allegations are true, because it's alleged that there was sexual grooming occurring between a 16-year-old and the head of the school. It is also alleged that there were financial payments or support made to the children or to the victim through the educational foundation, which many children have benefited from, which to me raises another red flag, which says, were there any other children then? And if the fund was used to support children, then my concern is that it would then trigger an investigation of all of the investigation of the disbursement of funds. And what if the usage of it was to support a student that was making allegations, would it then be considered a slush fund to protect or to be used? And part of the reason that you would want to stay over it is because you really wouldn't want anyone to go further into looking into any of the other payments that went out from that. And then what would happen would be a correlation study that then says, were there any other, who were the people, what were the stories? So then I have been made aware through some of my other sources of this concept of sons in a particular community in which young black males are mentored by, holy crap, where young black boys are mentored by men who they may later, at an older age, have relations with. And as this has been brought to my attention in the universe, I just had a mind explosion. And so now I'm going to take a few calls because I'm like, wait a minute. And this is part of, this whole thing is like, who do you trust? Like, Jesus Christ. Who do you trust? And I think when you take y'all have to understand the institution. Anyway, give us a call, 872-259-7474. Man, go to the live line. Call you on the Mace Jackson Show. How do we deal with this urban prep allegations? And again, I want to be 100% clear. There were no charges. There is no criminal charges. The DCFS said that the allegations were unfounded. But this strikes me of someone and WBEZ says they have not seen the report. Tim King has not responded. His lawyer has said that these allegations are patently false. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. What's up, caller?
Good morning. This is Katie. How are you?
Hey, Katie.
I was really surprised because I thought that they had given us the whole story, and then they come back with this, and then I read something that he cannot have any contact, cannot go into the school, etc. So it's some stuff more stuff that's going on there, but people have to be very careful about who they put their children around. Because if he was doing this, how long was he doing this? It's a lot of stuff that has to come out. But I remember a neighbor of mine took his kid out of a Catholic school, because all boys school, because they kept messing with his kid, and his kid wasn't gay. So, you just got to be careful. And if he has these urges to mess around with children, maybe that's why the school failed, because he was going after his what he liked to do instead of doing what was proper for the school. So it's a whole lot of stuff going on there. And besides that, the school's position, being a black all male school, and it's horrible. But we got to be very careful, and people have to be. They just have to be mindful of who they put their children around. And I think it's, I don't know why this sometimes came up. I guess that's because they didn't give them information. So a lot of this information is hidden. They are probably running around trying to hide stuff. But if the boy was being paid by whatever organization, something was being going on. Because I'm sure that the parents want for their son some money out of this situation dealing with this charter school. So, I was really surprised. That really, I did not know. But you just got to be careful.
Man.
And as far as public opinion, we have to have some kind of public opinion, joint public opinion on this. It's not good. We have to protect our children, and thank you, Maeve. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Enjoying the show.
Katie, thank you. Appreciate you. That is the president of the phone club. So, Marjorie, you bring up a good point, which is no charges, so why the lynching? I think that he had an opportunity to probably exit and did not. So a lot of times when something like this happens, this is how it goes. They be like, here you go. This is what we got. This is what we find. This is what it is. You then are either marched out, right? Or you are given the opportunity to exit gracefully. Oftentimes, when we have been at the mountaintop, it's very difficult to conceive of ourselves exiting gracefully, especially when I built this joint.
Not just built it, but getting 200 and some K bands per year to run it.
And I'm a national celebrity. You can't do this to me.
Well, so just looking at the news cycle from yesterday versus today, he was probably thinking, like, if I just tap out, then I'm gonna look guilty. Then I'm gonna look guilty if I go out. And that's what I'm thinking. But in my humble opinion, there are certain things that you are not gonna let people say about you. You're not finna need no lawyer to talk through for certain things. It's certain things you don't let people say about you, and you're not gonna let people say about you. And as a lover and a protector and an advocate of young people, I'm telling you, it's some things you ain't about to let people say about you. You ain't about to need no lawyer to type up nothing for you to defend yourself against some things that people might say about you if it ain't true.
So that. Now here's the other part, and this is the thing that I gotta. This is why we either need a court of public opinion, a black court of public opinion, where it's a safe space for black people to tell their story and be like, yo, this is what the deal is. Because here's what I really see. So and did y'all hear me say I said this is a file? Like, this is how we gonna know. You know, y'all watched the Godfather. It was Barzini all along. Fredo, I knew it was you. The key will be to watch to see who makes the play to keep urban prep.
Ooh.
Now, I hope my friend doesn't take offense to this, but I'm going to use him in this case. I watched a similar situation like this happen with the extrication of a head of someone who built a charter school network that became a valuable tool to everybody else, who saw the $200,000 salary and all of the perks that came with running your own school district, because he probably, well, let me back up. I want you to go back to Uno. And I want you to go back to when Juan Rangel was removed. And there was a group of people that sort of put a gun to his head and said, yeah, you built this great thing, but we want it now. And Juan refused to give it up. And so what you found was that criminal charges, there was no federal crime. There were no crime, but there were criminal allegations that were put into the universe that alleged a crime, impropriety, that built up a level of public opinion that eventually forced him to walk away.
Related to a child?
Not to a child.
Okay.
But they wanted to separate him. Remember when I tell you about they got to do extra special stuff to black people? That federal case, Juan was able to recover from that because there was no criminal anything. You don't really, it's going to be really difficult to recover from this. But my point is, when somebody wants to take over what you got, they've been building a case on you for a while. And in my estimation, this story, true or not, these allegations are part of a larger play. Because if you pay attention, they also talk about the renewal of the school and its contract.
It's coming up.
It's coming up, the review. Now, you can't put urban prep out of business.
Clearly, because they have been having financial problems for a minute. So why ain't nobody stepped in to be like, let's take a look at this? Because, like you said, it's just keeping a file.
So now I'm going to keep this file. I'm going to be at your review. And part of my plan to keep us open is we've signed all the bad stuff. We're clearing out the old administration. We're getting rid of all of that and give us the opportunity to start fresh and new. This is a brand that has inspired black people around the country. We can't let it die at the expense of one person. So now the narrative has been created. The extrication of the old guard, the we ain't that no more, is now complete as they go into this. And now whoever is now moving in to take over, and I'm going to tell you got to pay attention. If urban prep does not close, if it does not close, you will find that the people that take over are the people who kept the file. Now, let me tell you the other thing that happened in the realm of this space. What you're also seeing, and I wanted to get into this, but we got some other stuff. The destruction, not the destruction of a legacy, but the lack of I would tell you that this gentleman has climbed the ladder to the levels of success because he is part of a legacy. A Black Chicago familial legacy that was probably honored under Daley, was honored under Rahm as a continuation of Daley. But as Chicago no longer cares about, as Chicago now becomes not Chicagoan, all of those new old alliances, those familial things, those things that were part of the Black Afrostocracy, what you are seeing is the Afrostocracy also has no longer the same clout and sway. That story would have never hit the marketplace under another regime. If this was because both Daley and Rahm were invested in his success. Right? As Daley made the switch to charter schools, he became the standard bearer. And as Rahm moved charter schools up and closed, he was the shield, the cover for a lot of schools that closed as we moved to. So they were invested in his success. So they could never allow. So that financial mismanagement that you talking about, right? That financial mismanagement, we ain't gonna never let that hit the light of day because they didn't. Right. You got the perfect. So that is why every time you saw the guys in the yellow sweater, in the yellow scarves, they were always, because they were Rahm's physical example of charter schools, so you couldn't say, regardless of the back end.
That's a really good point.
Now, all that, I want to make sure that we're clear that this brother has not been, and the fact that he hasn't been charged with anything. Ruthie, I'm gonna tell you that reading the story does not make me say that any of that the victim made the allegations. Reading the story, it was like it was all good, like nobody really had a problem until somebody decided that it was Barzini all along. Look, y'all, it's the Mace Jackson Show. Let's take a quick call. Call you on the Mace Jackson Show. What's up?
Yo, what's good, bro? What's up, Riis? What's up, Ruthie? What's going on,
Devo?
man?
I heard you was buying brunch on Sunday. I mean Saturday.
Oh yeah, we still trying to put that together, man. Everybody, drop their donations in the chat box so we can get this together, man. So we can make this a real family affair. Because this is actually a good conversation that we can have at the B1 think tank at Obsidian. So check it out. Like you said, bro, I don't know this family. I don't know dude. It's just bad business all the way around. Bigger picture. Look at the people who are going to try to take over the school, because if I'm your enemy, the best place to corrupt your children and to indoctrinate your children is at a flag charter school in Chicago. So, bigger picture, we need to be talking about how do the views of Devin Gordine or Devin Gordine's are not the opinion of the Mace Jackson Show or the co-host of the Mace Jackson Show. Though what we need to be talking about is how to get control of these charter school or uncharter schools from the progressives, because the curriculum and indoctrination from the progressives are not working for our students across the board. So if we want to enforce separate but equal in the educational system, we need to start talking about how to put appropriate black leadership in these schools with the appropriate black curriculum to start to educate our black students appropriately. Because if I was your enemy, I'll take all your urban prep men and corrupt them in various ways. And then your next generation is even more screwed than your current generation. And I think that's where this conversation kind of needs to go. The black public opinion is corrupted by these non-black non-FBA media spaces. So we know that the opinion of the people in the community ain't really the opinion of the people in the community, because there's a lot of goofy people out there that's just going with this foolishness on various topics of various things. But we need to talk about the public school system and how they use the public school system to weaponize our following generations against adopting the appropriate codes that we need to succeed. First code, leave the kids alone. That's all we need to agree on right now. Leave the kids alone. If you got an issue, you don't need to be around the kids. Watch your kids. That's why they keep burning down the village, because we failed to protect them. I'm out, bro.
All right, y'all. It's the Maze Jackson Show. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Anybody else on that line, Reese? All right. I just think we got to think about how do we deal with this. Salim said that the concept of he was saying that these type of allegations can lead to fears of mentorship in our community.
Okay, so I think this is a very difficult conversation because of what urban prep means to a lot of people, like the concept, not the
physical.
Not the physical, because we all know they had problems. Like, we know this.
Did we know that?
Yes.
I don't think most people know.
Most people knew urban prep had problems, but we was concerned about the white teachers messing with the black boys.
Oh, that's right, you did.
So
wait, hold on. Say that. What you said now?
Just run the tape back.
Okay.
So we had other concerns.
Okay.
But I know quite a few young people that went to urban prep, and they were decent. So it's a very interesting story because you gotta bring in the word grooming, because technically speaking, like, if grooming wasn't a thing, then he likely didn't commit any crimes. Like, and that's why he ain't get found. That's why he got off, no pun intended. Now, the challenge though is that when you think about grooming, with the position that he's in, with the purported fund to do so, this is the perfect cover for a predator. This is the perfect cover for a wolf in sheep's clothing that is hiding in your pasture, preying on the baby animals. It's the perfect covering. Now, I went there. I don't know if he did it. DCFS, it was unfounded. So technically, he likely didn't commit any crimes. But when you think about the grooming aspect and him having access to these impoverished young boys that need things, he's in a position to be able to provide for them. And he probably has mentored, and he said he done mentored so many young boys over the years. And we know that there's a lack of fathers in our homes. This is the perfect position for a predator to be in. Now, I'm not saying he did it because I wasn't there. But all signs is pointing to he needs to be on the no contact list. And if somebody accuse you of if you love children, if you love young people, I don't care if you do trying to use the technicality, well, this was an adult. This was a grown. Well, this was somebody that you knew when they were younger and you provided for them. You likely mentored them and was in the role of a father figure. Now, if that relationship changes when the young person becomes an adult, okay, you got us on the technicality, Mr. King. We get it. We get why you weren't found guilty, because he was probably likely of age when you did whatever. We get it. Put an asterisk by that. But you don't get to sit. You don't get to be in this type of position of power over our young people in a school with a program that we know is so needed to instill pride within these young black boys. So you let Rahm Emanuel and them gas you up to be the face of charter schools, all at the demise of CPS, and we gotta cheer for this model because we do know that it's needed, and they used you, but you can't control yourself, allegedly. And I think it's disgusting. And who is protecting the children? And this is why we need fathers in our homes. This is why we need the daddies in our homes, because of people like this who can take our demise and our situation to fulfill their own sexual perversions. And I'm not saying he did it because I wasn't there. I'm done.
Go to break. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I can't say nothing else after that. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
WIIFTBP, media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP, media's just for you and me.
Let's reminisce. Yeah. Woo. See, I remember the first day we met, a Thursday night at the club I'll never forget. Do you remember the words that I said? One night in my bed you'll never regret. And you, with your pretty brown eyes, I knew, baby, you would change my life. And you opened up my eyes to see I'm excited for our future, but I love our history. Let's throw back to the day that we first met. Let's throw back, I never will forget. Let's throw back to when we fell in love. Let's throw back, babe. I wanna throw back, babe. Is it just me? Don't you miss those nights sexing on the beach, playing Isley Brothers in between the sheets? And now we're taking flights from London to Belize, and we're popping bottles, endless shopping sprees. Still sexy as can be. I knew you're still the only one for me. Yeah. I'm feeling lucky as can be. I'm excited for our future, but I love our history. Yeah. The day that we first met, let's throw back. I really wanna know. Let's throw back. Let's go back. Let's throw back. Let's go. I wanna throw back. Oh, come on now. We were making love to the first time we let's reminisce of the whip. We were making love. Come on now. Let's throw back. Oh, all I wanna do is throw it back. That's all I wanna do. Come on now. Let's throw back, babe. I wanna throw back, babe. Let's throw to be. Oh yeah.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Todd Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you can put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blotto. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And up the seal carry, I stay with the pipe. Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Urban Prep. Court of Black Public Opinion. We're going to have to put that in. You're going to have to pull that mic closer to you. That's not going to work that way. The Black Court of Public Opinion is going to be something we're going to have to talk about. But I want to move on because lots been happening, particularly in the space of housing in Chicago, particularly CHA. Last week we reported after, actually I was given a tip. Let me not even call it a tip. Let me say that. Generally, I get information about what's going on in the housing space from my housing expert. She's an expert in many places, but I really more look to her for understanding when I see stories going on in the CHA, Chicago Housing Authority, a lot with contracting, etc. But we talked last week about a story where Chicago, how CHA removed let 17 people leave after taking advantage of the Paycheck Protection Program. it was like, a big revelation, and they are doing their job, etc. But what also happened, and I didn't realize, was that not only were they taking employees, but this was also impacting CHA residents who had received the PPP loans and were now being in risk of losing their housing voucher. And I was just like, wow. And really, one of the things that Tamiko made me understand is that there's a finite number of housing vouchers. And so the only way to get a new one is for somebody to leave. And with everything happening, I thought, wow, this seems like these 16 people get to leave, but you're about to put thousands of people out. And so what I decided to do is just to ask Tamiko to come in and talk to us a little bit about, just tell us what is going on. What do we need to be watching? Because it just seems like it's so much. Then I was looking, you was telling me, I looked around and y'all talking about there's a soccer stadium being built. Then I saw on CHA land that they did a land swap, and now they're building a high school on land where CHA residents do. Now, Tamiko, I got to tell you, you know that before I met you, I had a lot of preconceived notions about public housing, about CHA, and I didn't realize as much as I know now. But I think that CHA residents, in a way, have been kind of put in like a bucket. And it's kind of like a bucket over here, as if it's not part of the collective. And it's like, if you ain't come from, because everybody came from Cabrini Green. If you ain't came from Cabrini Green, you ain't really got a story, right? Everybody got Cabrini Green in a commercial. But talk to me about like just the role of public housing in our lives and in our communities, and what we do and don't know. Because I think about so many great people that have come from public housing. Then I think about people in our organization who come from public housing. I'd be like, I didn't know you came from, and you'd be like, wait a minute, talk to me, man. First of all, just give me some background on CHA, your role and all of the work that you've done there, because I think that we need to level set. So tell us a little bit about you and what you have done at CHA. Let me also tell y'all, Tamiko is the president of What's in it for the Black People First. That's our political organization, is actually our hybrid political organization, and she is also the president of of What's in it for the Black People. Tamiko, welcome to the show. Oh, by the way, I covered up your logo because I was going to start charging this month. But don't forget, that's in our new space. I'm sorry. Because in our new studio, we can't put logos on the windows, right? We can't put logos and windows in the studio. So, Tamiko actually built our studio. Her company, Okamat Construction. It was all women, black-owned construction. Look at that. I was like, y'all ain't got no mans in this company? All right. Anyway, welcome to the Maze Jackson Show. What's up, Miko? Talk to us. Well, y'all know her from everywhere else, but talk to us. Tell me a little bit about you and CHA first, because I think I want to start there.
My name is
Yeah, can talk to the mic. You got to get in, talk to the mic.
I've been a CHA resident. Well, I was a CHA resident since I was a little girl. Lived in Robert Taylor.
Hold on. What's going on, Riis? See, this is what happened when you don't got your own people. I don't got my own sound man supposed to be looking out for me. Why is this not tightening?
You're a one-man band. It's all right.
That's me. You know me. There we go. All right. Lean into the mic. You got to talk directly into it. And lean in. Lean in.
This better?
No, it's not. You got to talk to it.
Okay.
There you go. Lean in.
Great.
Lean in. Hold it with two hands.
No,
just play.
Do all that.
Go ahead, just talk. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, okay. I got jokes too.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Tamiko Holt, and I've been a CHA resident for basically all of my life. I started in Robert Taylor as a child, moved to Henry Hornet, lived in Cabrini Green. Actually, I graduated from Frederick Von Schiller. Jesse White was my gym teacher. Moved to ABLA.
You got to stay in the mic, kid.
ABLA, which is on the west side of Chicago, but more so downtown. I like to call the West Loop area. Anywho, so I've been and I transitioned to Section 8. So, and I just last year became a owner of my own condo. So that was my transition from being a CHA resident. But all during that time, like for the past 10 years, I've been on the resident leadership team. So that means we go to conferences to different states. Basically, those conferences was about resident services, where basically those like vacations, but they have other conferences. It's business orientated, telling you about the new laws and the money allocations and the different changes that'll go on with public housing in Section 8. So I made sure I attended those conferences as well. So I learned a lot, met a lot of people, and pretty much I learned a lot about policies and procedures.
So one of the things that always amazes me when we talk is your knowledge of the policies and procedures. But I want to also go back to talk a little bit about your history with the Section 3 program. Tell us a little bit about that, because I don't know that people recognize how much you've done to create business opportunities for CHA residents. So it's kind of funny because I always thought of like, please don't take offense to this, but like I think until I really started to know people, and I go back to Big Swill and them, right? Like I had an impression of what CHA people were, right? I categorized people, right? And one of the things that I have come to recognize is that some of the greatest minds, people who live in CHA have become experts and have businesses and are participatory in the economy. One of the things that you worked really hard on was this Section 3 program. Tell me a little bit about the Section 3 program and what it was, because I do think it was a answer before there was a WIFTA, but talk to me.
Okay, so Section 3, first of all, is not a program. It's actually a law that's been on the books since 1968 about low-income residents pretty much being able to partake in the economics when federal dollars are involved in contracting, and employment is also connected to that. It's not a program. It is actually a law. So from 1968, so 10% of contract dollar amounts that's involved with CHA business contracting, procurement, pretty much supposed to go to Section 3 businesses, and employment, where the way it reads now, 30% of new hires are supposed to be low-income residents.
And so Section 3 businesses are businesses owned by people who are residents of CHA.
Not just people of residents of CHA, but they're people that low-income residents. So Section 3 is based upon your income. So if you have your income is below the AMI,
come on,
medium area income,
okay,
where you live, you are Section 3, whether you like it or not. A lot of us think that, I'm middle class. No, basically in Chicago, if you're a family of 3 and you make less than $100,000 a year, you're Section 3.
Dang.
And if you have a business, it's pretty much.
Can I have a Section 3 business? Is it based on how much money I make?
It's based on how much money the 51% shareholder makes.
I could be a Section 3 business?
Yes, you can be.
How much? Okay. All right, so now let's back up, because this is so we're going to have to have a whole nother Section 3 comment.
Yes, we do.
But what I need to talk about right now is what is going on in CHA with the Paycheck Protection loan program, because it seems as though right now, Tamiko, we saw 17 people being removed from CHA, but you told me that there's a lot more people being removed from CHA.
No,
what's going on?
I think the number count is either 28 or 33. So it's not 17. So 16 or 17 of them left. They just resigned. They didn't wait around for all of the investigations and things of that nature. They just left, and then the other half pretty much they got fired.
Caught.
Yeah.
So now, what were these CHA people that were removed accused of doing?
Nobody knows.
So why would they be leaving? Is it because they received the Paycheck Protection loan as a employee of a federal agency? What did they do wrong? Why did they walk away?
We have no clue unless they disclose that, but it could be numerous of things. But the first thing our heads go to, they got their money, they got that money just like everybody else. No, there are rules, there's policies that goes along with working for a government agencies, just like CHA. They do a lot of contracting. So you cannot have a business and work for CHA and do business with CHA. You cannot have property and pretty much work for CHA and be a landlord. You understand in their Section 8 program.
So you're saying that your thought process is that potentially what could have happened is people have these businesses that were taking advantage of work at CHA. Well, here's what we know. You couldn't have a job and get a PPP. Is that correct?
No. So you have to disclose. They as an employee, you have to disclose different economic interests about yourself.
Okay.
Right. So who knows? They may have gotten, let go of. Once you trigger that PPP, that triggered other business. But this is some things they're supposed to check anyway. So but our heads automatically go to, they got that money, they scam just like no, that may not be their case, not everyone's case. But the problem is that you're pretty much that itself too was breaking the law, and they get away to go scot-free. Their careers are still intact and everything else, because I do believe that some professionals have pretty much licensing attached to their names and their professions, right? So if you can pretty much get away, just go scot-free, then what is your penalty?
So you're saying that they get to walk away without claiming, so they walk away they take the package, say I'm gonna leave, I'm not gonna make a mess, and then they can go get hired somewhere else.
Yes, they can go somewhere else like nothing ever happened.
Sort of like the police. Now, the reason that stands out to me is because you also told me about they did the same thing to residents.
So this is what they're doing to residents. So they're pretty much they're having the residents to walk into what they call informal hearings. And in a lot of residents' mind, you hear that word informal, you don't think that you may need an attorney, or you think you're just going to a hearing and you're going to tell your side of the story, and you think you're going to come out a victor, because a lot of our people had no knowledge what was going on. They thought they were getting free grant money in some instances to start a business, and I heard that a lot from our people. So they walk into these informal hearings, and then they get the hammer dropped on them. And that means at the end of the day, when you come out of the informal hearing and it doesn't go your way, you lose the roof over your head.
So back up, because I don't understand the informal hearing and what are you getting called in for? I thought the premise that you got called in for, and this is what jumped out to me, was that I thought that there was a cross-check, because I think Ruthie and I were talking about it, where they said if you have a PPP loan and you live in CHA, then CHA called you in and said, show us your business. And if you can't show us your business within this 10-day period, then you was gone.
So
did I misunderstand
that's what
that?
they were doing at first. That was the premise at first, until I spoke out in March. This has been going on for a while.
Okay.
They sent out those letters around February and March, before taxes was even pretty much, what was the tax deadline? 15th
to April. Yeah.
15th. They were sending out these letters in February and March and calling people in to come in 10 days. So those people, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what they did with them. So, and they're being closed-lipped about it all. But then they took a step back. After they sent out those letters, I spoke out. Nobody heard no more from them. They took a step back. So now they're claiming that they're doing the informal hearing process, right? So the informal hearing process has always been a problem. before. So I've spoken out about that process. So you still doing the same thing, because our people are being hauled in. They're not bringing attorneys with them, which they should be having. They should have attorneys. But some of our people cases can be cured. You know, for the simple fact, because some of them are doing, just like one young lady that contacted me. She does have a business. She has been for the past 7 years to 10 years, she has been reporting her self-employment income on her taxes.
Okay.
It's sporadic, but she has been reporting it.
So now tell me, what do we need to do? What do CHA residents, what do the people that are tuned into this show need to know, and what do they need to do to protect themselves in this scenario?
First of all, first and foremost, they should not walk into those informal hearings just thinking that they even though they may have been tricked, their Social Security number may have been used. Don't walk in them informal hearings by yourself without representation. Do not do that.
So now tell me, why am I going to an informal hearing? Because I got called in over my business?
Yes.
And so you go in and say, so they come to you and they say, it's informal. Keep your, sort of like they say, don't put your defense up, don't put your hands up. You walk in and then all of a sudden they punch you, and you came out and you like, Dad, you told me it was informal. So now where do I find counsel or representation?
Well, with the LAF Legal Assistance Foundation was helping residents at one point, but what I had found out that was oddly strange about all of this, where's the housing advocacy groups at that put the T-shirts on our people and put them on the buses and have them...
Wait, is that a real thing?
Have them advocating against their own self-interest in a lot of spaces. Where are they? I have not heard not one of these advocacy groups speak up. Speak up to even get in the mix of any of this.
So wait a minute. So you can bring a lawyer to the informal hearing. You should. Now, who do you have recommended lawyers? Are there people, or is there like somebody that you can recommend? Because I guess my thing is, I always think
I've been calling around, and being at a lot of first of all, a lot of attorney firms, a lot of law firms, because they have what do you call it? They have some type of business with another sister agency.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conflict of interest. However that goes, because they have contracts with other sister agencies or the city of Chicago, it's a conflict of interest for them to pretty much go up against CHA.
Man, so I was thinking about this. Wait a minute, hold on. Oh, so somebody just said I was approached to be on a part of a PPP loan task force. I did not volunteer because I knew that the people would be targeted are black people. Why is this targeting so important though, to us in this housing space? And I think that is important, because I really the thing that jumps out to me is that you can't make new vouchers. So tell me about why this process could be so detrimental to us.
Okay, so as far as the vouchers, HUD has not issued new vouchers. So in order for a voucher to be released to another family that's on a wait list, you have to take it from a family, a family that has it now, right? So with that being said, now they have like special programs like vouchers for emergency vouchers for like say if you were a victim of sorts, for whatever reason, they have emergency vouchers for different pots of populations that have special needs, right? Okay. But other than that, in order for a person that's on the wait list to get a voucher, you have to pretty much have been taken away from a family.
So if you had a PPP loan and you go to this informal hearing and it rules against you, you up out of there. Now I heard it's over 6,000 people on that list.
Yes, it's over 6,000 people on that list. And we have to remember, there is a push for, they call them mixed families. There's a push for mixed families.
What do you mean mixed families? What's that?
Oh, did I send you the video? I didn't know what a mixed family was either until I was sitting in a CHA meeting, and the CEO Tracy Scott explained it to this young woman because she had got on the mic saying that she was disappointed in CHA because they don't have. She wants that number of mixed families to go up, and she expects it to go up, immediately, and whatever else she was saying. But mixed families are undocumented immigrants.
Why do they call them mixed families? Because somebody is from the other country. So wait, you know what? I ain't got time for you.
I have no idea. So the premise is we don't know if they're being the head of household, and I'm gonna assume they're being the head of households because she also out of everything that you heard. I heard a couple of horror stories before the young lady got up there, and nobody was jumping up to help those residents. But with the minute that young lady pretty much stepped up to the mic talking about the mixed families numbers being low, percentage being low within CHA, she also said that they removed the component to the website to where you have to enter in a social security number. So with that being said, that opens up a whole can of worms for ex-offenders and everybody else that's been having problems with getting in CHA. So, hey, how are you even running background checks on anybody? So I'm trying to figure all of this out. How is this going to go? Because anything could be happening because you run background checks on people because you want to know if you let predators, because this is not just Section 8. This is not just HCV, which is formerly known as Section 8. This is public housing as well. So you're in developments where they're called family developments, and then you have the ones that's senior public housing, for seniors. So you don't know, who you're putting in these environments if you can't run a background check.
Wait a minute. Nah, we don't have to pass every law to prove we some Americans to get access, and now you trying to tell me you don't need a Social Security? Do you know how many years I have been operating without using my Social Security number? I paid for cash for everything because I was scared of my credit. And they don't gotta. You know what?
I'll send you the video.
I don't even want to see it. And then here's the thing that we know. We know that as we become the most welcoming city, and as you keep, how many y'all, can I tell y'all something real quick, and then I'm going to let Tamiko give us a close. Yesterday I was on the phone, and I was talking, I was on a customer service call, and it was a black man in Minnesota who got Section 8 from Chicago to Minnesota, and he said it's so many people from Chicago coming to Minnesota and so many people from Chicago going to Iowa. And they were former CHA residents, and they left. And I keep thinking about all of this in coinciding. Now you tell me they've taken the Social Security number off. And it just makes me say that they are clearing public housing out. Remember when I told you about that story? The story that when I was telling you about the thing downtown was about affordable housing and who was going to control the next wave because they're already moving people out of the public housing. Tamiko, and let me ask you this, because I didn't realize this even though, and you brought this to my attention. 72% of Chicago Housing Authority residents are black.
Yes.
Why do I feel like they don't cater to their constituents?
They don't. Matter of fact, I'm going to send you a few videos. It was so insulting. Let's get back to Section 3. So Section 3, the fight started and it kicked off with, it was 5 of us. It was 5 of us that fought CHA vigorously about violating Section 3, the Section 3 law. Myself, Paul McKinley, Mark Carter, Joseph Watkins, God rest his soul, and Dennis Hood. God rest his soul, he's gone too. So our fight led into an investigation. Of CHA, and they had found that they had been violating Section 3, which we knew that already, and they were put up on a voluntary compliance agreement. So with that being said, over 100 businesses was created. Over 100 businesses was created. We were contracting within Section 3, within CHA up under the Section 3 component, because they pretty much, we was a part of the think tank team too, with creating the grants, the competitive grant program for $20,000 for businesses, and the need-based grants $5,000 for residents and businesses. It was a lot going on. We had legal assistance. We had Jock was a contracting program within CHA procurement that only companies, Section 3 companies, were pretty much contracting, and we didn't have to bid against one another. We were assigned work. Once you got in, first of all, you had to put in the RFP to get in. Once you got in the program, when you were picked, you were assigned work every time your company name came around. So all of those things came to pass, a lot of training and things of that nature. So once Jones left, all of that started pretty much going away. They took away our legal assistance. They took away the legal assistance contract from the law firm that had it, and there's the legal assistance for our businesses. That was for the low income Section 3 business. So there's two types of Section 3 business. It's three ways you can pretty much become a Section 3 business. You can contract 25% of your contract dollar amount as a large business, a large business firm. And that pretty much makes you a Section 3 business at that point when you're doing that with low-income Section 3 businesses. Or your 30% of your permanent workforce can be Section 3 residents. That makes you a Section 3 business. Or the shareholder, 51% owner of the business, have a certain income bracket. So all three of those components makes you a Section 3 business. So these particular contracts that I'm talking about, as far as the legal assistance and all of those things, those were for low income businesses. But the Section 3 program, Section 3 contracting program within CHA, they opened that wide up for big firms and small firms, and so we were all in that program. But the interesting thing about that is they changed the rules to that, to whereas big firms they only needed to hire employees for 90 days.
That sounds like
low-income residents for 90 days and be pretty much certified as Section 3.
See how they do that to you? And that sounds just like the social equity program in cannabis. Seem like Black Groundhog Day continues. They keep getting us. Hey, Tamiko, we're going to have to do some more CHA specials because you got so much. We're going to have to sit down. I think what we need to do is probably program them a little bit. And then go through it, because I'm going to tell you, it's so much that you can pack into this segment that I think we need to give them some more. So let's do this. Let's call it a break right here. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to bring Ruthie back on the Airbnb slave cabins that they marketed. And then what we got to do is sit down and talk about how do we break down all of these things, because I didn't even know I could have been a Section 3 business. Mm-hmm. You be tripping, man. All right, y'all. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. My girl, Tamiko, in her salt and pepper tracksuit, doing her thing.
Fort Myer.
Who's that?
Fort Manor.
Who is that?
Oh, that's the black guys on the west side.
Oh, well, they need to go and send us some gear. Look, until next time, it is Tamiko. She's the president of What's in It for the Black People First. Tamiko, hold on, Dag. Let us close the section. Let me close the joint out. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you. This is the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break. Maze Jackson.
Tune in to the Maze Jackson Show every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m., where you can catch us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Plus, from 6:30 to 8, you can get us on WBGX 1570 AM. That's right, it's the Maze Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them, Maze said. We out of here. Peace.
Hey, Chicagoland, all roads lead to Solo Beauty Supply, the largest black-owned beauty supply in Chicago. We carry a large selection of natural hair care products, plus much more. So come see us at one of our two locations, located at 9011 South Ashland or 8158 South Cottage Grove. Our inventory is growing, and with your support, Solo Beauty will continue to be a source of pride in our community.
Smiling more every day, closer to my dreams. Hey, guapole, the food tastes better. I stopped smoking squares, healing from the inside out, making repairs. I forgave some people, thanked them for the lessons, cause holding on to it was blocking my blessings. No more stressing, worry dishonors God, so I just pray, and I'm loving my odds. Mingle with like minds, gravitate where light shines. Graduate, masters, your rhymes ain't like mine. Big dank from the west side, this is my best self. Taking vacations, hoping the rest helps. Got a career now, loving what's ahead. My spirit is free from the stuff that I shared.
I feel good now, ain't that what life's about? Thank you for new days, something to sing about. Let's do it a new way, more than just talk about. Today's a holiday, that's what it's all about. I feel good now, ain't that what life's about? Thank you for new days, something to sing about. Let's do it a new way, more than just talk about. Today's a holiday, that's what it's all about. I'm feeling so good now, walking on higher ground. Got out the country, visit some new towns, made some new friends, let go of some bad ones. Soon as that took place, everything got fun. My life started going up, opportunities showing up. I'm back where I wanna be, no headaches and throwing up. Reconnect with the homie, it's positive energy, vibes and wavelengths. It's all about frequency. I'm back with my first love, it feel like the first time. I'm back in the studio, this ain't my first rhyme. I wake up every day, blessed as heavenly. Before I ain't say much, now I got much to say. Raise my credit score, got rid of some past debt. Heard that's attractive, well call me a magnet. Plugged into an outlet, living life outright. All on my Kid Cudi, focusing day and night. Right now, ain't that what life's about? Thank you for new days, something to sing about. Let's do it a new way, more than just talk about. Today's a holiday, that's what it's all about. I feel good now, ain't that what life's about? Thank you for new days, something to sing about. Let's do it a new way, more than just talk about. Today's a holiday, that's what it's all about. Feel good, See, my state gets busy. That's the cardinal rule.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl Ruthie Moore back. Just got through talking to Tamiko Houghton. We're gonna have to have her come back on another time to continue having these conversations. But Ruthie Moore, and we missed a couple things that I wanted to talk about today, so I might bring them in tomorrow. But this one, I felt like I couldn't let get away. Ruthie, you an Airbnb, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been nervous to Airbnb. I keep thinking, like, I don't want to go to sleep and wake up and somebody looking at me in a teddy bear. Right? Like the teddy bear sitting on the counter and they be like, what you over there doing? Can you smoke at an Airbnb? Like Riis, I know you blow their joint out.
Everybody say no smoking.
You blow their joint out, don't you? Do you go out on the porch?
I'm like you, man. I give me one with a patio.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Straight up.
So, and Riis, I blame you for this. I don't know if you see it, but this Airbnb in Louisiana is now marketing slave cabins as bread and breakfasts. Literal remodeled slave cabins as places to stay. Right or wrong? And would you ever consider staying in one? Now, when you read the reviews, people are like, oh my God, suite on the property with its own TV, a new LCD smart TV with basic channels, Netflix, and on demand. This particular structure, the Panther Burn Cabin, is an 1830 slave cabin from the extant Panther Burn plantation to the south of Belmont. It has also been used as a tenant sharecropper's cabin and medical office for local farmers and their families to visit the plantation doctor. It was moved to Belmont in 2017 and meticulously restored over the course of a year. All of the wide cypress boards are original to the first built in the 1830s, while the 1850s bedboard in the bathroom is from a later remodel, which included new windows and new doors with their fancy hinges, likely from dismantling the big house on the property. Riis. Oh, let me show you pictures of the inside. Toilet, bath, running water, LCD, but they market the authenticity of the slavery cabin, the original pieces. Riis, I blame you for this. You know why?
Please do tell.
Hold on. So anyway, give us a call, 872-259. I'm gonna do tell in a minute. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Is Airbnb wrong? Is Airbnb wrong? Is this it? This is it. Is Airbnb wrong for marketing a slave cabin? And would you consider staying there? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. 872-259-7474. Hold on. I'm trying to find it. I gotta find it because I really do blame Riis for this. Oh, look at your boy hiding now. But give us a call. 872-259-7474. Is Airbnb wrong for marketing a slave commercial? I mean, not a slave commercial. And Riis, I can't find it. You so lucky I can't get it. They hiding it from me. He probably had them all pulled. He spent all his money. But this is all Richard Irvin slave cabin commercial. Remember? Remember when I told you? And everybody was like, oh, you was like, oh, man, come on. It's all good. I just think that slavery in America is not a revered, tragic moment. I still think that it is looked upon in a way that it was not tragic. And I think when you look at what happened with this slavery cabin, come on, man. I need it. Ooh, boy, they trying to save you. He pulled that son of a gun down from everywhere. Because, can you find it, Ruthie, please? I'm trying to find Richard Irvin slave commercial. Well, remember he was at the slave house? Remember they was sitting on the front porch? Remember I was telling y'all about all of this? I am just telling you that we have gotten to a point where, like, I feel like we're on these parallel tracks. And this Airbnb, first of all, should they have to take it down? Are white people wrong or what are people wrong for wanting to stay there? Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I could clearly see somebody social mediaing that and being like, I'm doing it. Now, if a white person stays there, what are they saying? And what does it say if a black person stays there? Could a black person ever stay at one of those locations? Could you imagine somebody doing it like we rented the whole plantation? And somebody take the big house? And then everybody else get a cabin? And then we all meet at the joint? Is that possible? Is there any way that this is possibly justifiable? Well, justifiable. I'm just curious, should we feel a kind of way? You feel a kind of way, Riis? I don't think you feel a kind of way because you was cool with the slave cabin and the granny in the commercial. I'm just saying, man. I was like, Riis, and this is the slippery slope. Because when they saw it, it was like it wasn't that bad. And I'm telling you, white folks that's going to this, they gonna take their kids and kids today, they'll be like, oh, they had it straight. Riis, this is you. Act like us. Look like us. Think like y'all.
Yeah, I actually read this yesterday and thought it was pretty crazy. You know.
But Riis, what's the difference between that?
That was a perception. That was us telling our.
Oh my God! When you allow slavery to be used for white advancement, for any, like, can you imagine in any commercial? And I'm damn near scared to say it. I ain't gonna even say it. But can you imagine if we were renting buildings in Germany? Is it equivalent? No, it's not in this country. No, it's not. Can you imagine under any circumstance in which a political commercial is done where genocide is featured in a positive manner? Anybody else? Can you imagine if someone in Airbnb in Germany said that we are marketing the former cabin, the former barracks that people slept in on their march to the chambers? And I must tell you that why I believe that the Richard Irvin commercials were so dangerous is because it did take the sting out of it. It did make us say, "Oh, I could see that. I could see that." It was. Look at you now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Right? Somebody is going to take that and be like, "Look at the Victoria in which you overcame." No. Plantations, living plantations where they are now monetizing, now they are marketing, the remarketing of the genocide, the greatest crime committed in history. And you too can stand on the boards where many grandmothers were raped. You too can eat in a house where there were probably young black girls chained to the beds. You too can stand on the original hinges from the big house. Man, they had flat screen TVs in a bed. You tripping. See, this is where you get the immigrant story. These are the narratives that as they take off, we lose our history in there. And this reparations fight that you want to have, man, what y'all need? Man, did y'all see how good we took care of you? Look, this the real wood. This original. Look at this. This ain't that bad. I'm gonna tell you. That's glamping. Dad got unlost it.
Not glamping.
That's white folks glamping. Just saying.
Well, I think capitalism always wins.
as we can see. I am in favor. Say it again, Reese.
I bet we can't go stay upstairs in somebody's old house. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm.
I bet if they turned that into it,
I bet you. Let me tell you what. I bet you if it's available, I bet you could. Because I think it's capitalism. No. Like I think it's capitalism. Now
they wouldn't allow it. They wouldn't.
Would they allow black people to stay there?
No.
Would they let black people stay in a slave cabin?
Oh yeah, but it's a difference.
See, I think that the person, just to justify it, if you had the money, they'd be like, "Oh, you gonna do it?" I'm gonna tell you, Hillbilly Bob, who owned this. Mm-hmm. If I said I want to rent this plantation out for $10,000 for the weekend, and I want the big house too, you getting it?
Yeah, but not Airbnb it though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a difference. Like you can't air. Like I don't. Like you could probably rent one out, but I don't think it's an Airbnb suitable.
The big house?
I got you. Like if we can go stay. I'm not. Mm-hmm. If we can stay in the other house where the other person stayed in the top part of the house. That's all I'm gonna say before they say. You don't get what I'm talking about?
No, I feel like if you put this up, I bet you all of the cabins I bet you the whole facility is up.
True, but I'm saying they can do that to us. But if it was another, it wouldn't happen.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. That's my point. Yeah, oh, no. There's no way in the world that this could be for any other community. If you could not rebuild, you could not remarket the tragedy, the death. Like, they have museums.
Well, they turn things into museums.
Okay.
So if this were turned into a museum... And not like, because Riis is saying it's that it's on Airbnb is really the problem. I'm in favor of historical preservation. I prefer if it was black owned, but that's,
So would you say at one of those?
So if it were like a museum type of thing, like I don't necessarily have a problem. Like if it was like a black owned experience, I probably would not have a problem with it if it was one of those things where it was
black-owned experience.
So just for example, if this were owned by black people, right, and it were marketed to other black people as an opportunity to come and learn about, a slave cabin, to connect with your ancestors, like that sort of thing, like I think it would be fine. But the problem is that they take our history and our culture and sell it back to us. Every other racial group take their own stuff and they sell it to people. That's how immigrants become so powerful. Think about, that's how we got we got like Holocaust museums, and the Anne Frank House is a museum and things like that. That's because people, they control their own narratives and they sell it back to us in a way that they deem to be acceptable. I don't have a problem with the historical preservation of a slave cabin.
Me either.
But if it's under white control, this is the type of thing that you get versus it being the Anne Frank attic that you can come visit. You know what I'm saying? Like those things exist.
So, right. So I'm with you on if it was a museum, I'm cool. I've avoided going to the plantations just because I feel like when I'm in New Orleans, I feel it. Like I just feel black pain in New Orleans after I get through eating. No, I'm good for a weekend. Like I'm good for Essence. But like if you got me when it's quiet, like I feel like in quiet New Orleans when it's just quiet, I feel like I can imagine just the pain, the suffering, just the whole thing. Ruthie, it's one thing to me to go to the plantation, pull up and see that, and go walk through it and look and revere the moment. Right? I don't know that even if it was black owned, that unless they make white people stay in the cabins and we stay in the big house, I don't know that I could be okay with. I'm okay with the historic preservation. I'm not okay with the the Disneying of it.
The
That to me,
exploitation of our pain and trauma.
bam. That to me is, what's that movie with Brer Rabbit and Song of the South? Where we sitting on where Riis had the grandma sitting on the couch. Richard Irvin commercial. Now, baby, when you're here, oh boy. Like, to me, I can't see those steps and somebody black sitting on the porch without thinking 300 times, how many times did a white man walk up them steps and come in that door and there was a black man whose life was put at risk. Like, I can't look at that and be like, I'm okay with going to see it as a preserved, and I don't want you to see it as no flat screen TV with a nice bathtub.
Well, that is, we would need to control our history and our narrative in a concerted way. But it's about ownership. And remember, they systemically took things away from us. Like, and this is what happens. This is what capitalism does. And this is how capitalism is exploitive. Because oftentimes it wins out. For the most part, it wins out. But I don't have a problem with historical preservation. I think it's necessary.
I agree with that.
Historical preservation, yeah, like if you use that as like a museum, but to like be like, yeah, I'm gonna turn
it's insulting to the memory of a slave catcher.
But that's the same way I felt about Richard Irvin. Did he have a black
storytelling though? He was
I agree with you, and the thing that I think that you gotta also say is because we know that narrative and that was not controlled by a black person.
That's my point. Like did Spike Lee
connectivity,
right? Like, did Spike Lee do it, or did some white guy say, "I got it"? Put the slave here go the slave outfit. Riis, who did the casting? Like, right? Like, again, I said this in the moment. Right? If this commercial was created by a black person and it's a Spike Lee joint, I'm going to give it to you. But if a white guy sat around and said, I've got it, Richard, I'm going to make you a slave. And then I want your grandma, because y'all don't understand that roots is burned into me. So when I see that, I promise you I just see both sets of those steps. Every walk up the steps, that wooden porch, every creak of it makes me think of the heart palpitations that a slave was having as dude was walking around. Am I going to get beat? Is he coming for my wife? Is he about to do something to my kids? Sun up to sundown. Till you can't see. What they say, you work till can't see? Can't see in the morning, can't see at night. That's what you work. I think about, if I'm gonna go see the historical preservation, I'm going to see it so it's never again. Right? Like when you go to the Holocaust Museum, it's the reminder of never again. It wasn't so bad. This is Disneyland. So when you take your white child to historic preservation and you teaching them history, they gonna be like, because they can't imagine.
Do you think that there are...
Go ahead.
This is just a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there are any Jewish historical preservation sites anywhere across the globe that they don't control the narrative of? Even in Germany, how you can't, like, that's why you got to control your own narrative. Like, but the challenge is we didn't get to write the outcome of history. They wrote it for us,
and you gonna like it.
But if you look at other communities that overcame, see the difference between the overcoming is overcoming 40 years versus like 400 years. Like that's a long time. And so when we think about black historical and cultural tourism, that means that you got to own something in order to be able to do that. And that's why what Harold Lucas was talking about. So that's why I understand it from the perspective of capitalism. Like, where does capitalism fit in with cultural heritage tourism? And it would be fine if we controlled it. But when we don't control it, you get an Airbnb slave cabin. Like, think about the Columbus statues. That's why they fighting so hard for them Columbus statues.
They history.
Like, that's their history. That is their cultural preservation site, is how they, it's the physical embodiment of their history, of their narrative that they want to control. They say, you don't get to tell us how Columbus was. We finna tell y'all. We'll throw up some plaques about the natives if that's what y'all want. I read that in the thing that they had.
I saw you. So I have no problem with historical preservation. I think you have nailed my point on the head with the controlling and the ownership of it. I just think man. Go to the live line. Caller, you on the Mace Jackson Show. Don't give me, come on, caller. What's up? You on the Mace Jackson Show. Thoughts?
Hey, Mace. This is Linda Jennings.
Hey, Linda Jennings.
I've been to a plantation. Hi, how are you?
All right. Thanks for calling.
Thank you for having me. I've been to a plantation outside of New Orleans. It's the most comprehensive plantation in America that deals with slavery. It's absolutely authentic. It was only two of us were African American, or Adolf, and one was African Nigerian. And everyone else were Europeans. And a lot of them were from Europe, not necessarily the U.S. It brought tears to your eyes to see what they're trying to market. And as I always say, has no morals at all. That is sacred ground, Maze, to see the cabins where we stayed, how we slept, how we had sacks for covers and hay, embedded hay for beds. There's just no way. It's sacred ground, and we need to treat it as such. And we can't let these capitalistic corporations, which they all are, we can't let them get away with this. We have to stand on it. And if you ask Adolf, in this country, have they been to a plantation? They'll say, I can't go. Oh, no, I wouldn't want to go. You have to go. You have to know your history. Because if you're going to expect it to get it out of books and schools and all of that, that ain't happening. You have to go to a plantation. You have to see our suffering. You have to see the bell that they rang so every slave could be brought to that field and watch your ass get beat. There's just no way we can go as a vacation and feel cool with that. That is sacred ground. And no one should make it an Airbnb. It's insulting to us as a people. I'm pissed. I read the story. I'm pissed. And it doesn't even look like that. That's all groomed and beautiful. The picture you're displaying is all groomed and beautiful. But in reality, when you go to a real slave plantation, it ain't looking like that. And as far as the big house is concerned, as you were talking about, Maze, where you can go rent it out and kick back, no, you can't do that either. That's horrific as well, because it doesn't have electricity. Everything was candles, things were outhouses. It's sacred ground. And it's sacred ground to our ancestors, and we need to respect that. They don't have Airbnb at the door of no return in Senegal, because I've been there too. That's not happening there either. And you can be dang sure the Jews would be in an uproar if they did that at Auschwitz. No, No, we can't let that go down like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. I appreciate you. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We got anybody else on that line? I know if you got to run, you can. I just want to get the rest of these calls. I think that's the point. I think it is sacred ground. And I do feel like with the sacred ground concept of it,
you got to own it.
Right.
In order for it to be sacred. Because who's going to make it sacred but you?
Right. That's true. And it's sacred. And quite frankly, it could be sacred for white folks for a whole different reason.
But to speak to her point, I've also been to the Cape Coast, and she's right. Like, you ain't about to be Airbnb. And now it is, capitalism that's related to it, but it reminds me of going to the Black History Museum in DC. I done been a few times because you got to kind of go a few times if you really want to take it in. And every time I feel like I've went, it's been white people there. And it's so difficult for me to look at the artifacts and like take in the history and like feel this sense of connectivity with this pain. And I got these white people like right here talking about like something like not into it the way that I'm into it. And so I do it is something to like anthropology and like historical memory and being connected to those artifacts. But see, the problem is I be going down the rabbit hole because it tell you who these artifacts belong to, on loan from this family, on loan from this place. And when you see that
on loan,
so most museums stuff is like on loan from other places, like for the most part. Like if you go to museums and you kind of start to read like the fine print, it'll tell you like where artifacts originated from or like where they actually belong to, like on loan from this place. And when I started to look at the on loans, I noticed, I said, well, we don't own none of this stuff. Like we don't own the chains that used to bind us. Like, so it's something to ownership and having control over your narrative. But capitalism always wins out. Who would think like, oh, I need to go bid on these
slave chains,
because they have value.
I would be trying to give me an iced out chain. I'm
done with it. Like it's really sad, honestly. More than anything, we don't own nothing. And when you don't own nothing, you can't control nothing.
Let's go to the live line. Caller, you on the Maze Jackson Show. Caller?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to say, I think, I agree with Ruthie basically. As far as it being historical preservation, I think that's necessary. History should always be repeated. Should never be forgotten. I also agree with her when she said, this is something that black people should own. But even if a black person doesn't own it, I think when a white person wants to live in what is formerly a slave cabin, house, quarters, whatever.
Treat them like a slave.
This is the first time I've heard of it. And I think, I just think they should have a historical experience. If they choose to rent a space out like that, knowing the history of it, he needs to stay near his wife, for example. And there should be other things that they should experience. You paying for it, you get cheated out of your money. Whatever you pay, you get hit with a few extra bucks. And let them know that if you get too nosy, things might get out of control for you in a physical way. If you want to do something like that, as disrespectful as it is, then you should also sign on to an experience and literally sign on to it so you know what's happening when you get there. And I want to say a lot of other things, but I'm not going to do that. you want to live in a former slave quarters, then you need to get some historical experiences with that. And that's basically all I wanted to say.
Thank you, James. I actually think that is kind of interesting. Didn't Kendrick Lamar say he did something like that?
What?
Well, we'll talk about it offline. That's a whole different.
Oh,
I'm a Kendrick expert now. I've been listening to everything. But do y'all kind of understand why I was a little upset when they was telling me that Kendrick was going to do a comedy about a slavery show? Like, I just think there's just certain things that there's nothing that's off limits for us, I feel like sometimes. Like, there's no level of pain.
But that's black humor. That's how we've survived.
I feel you. I feel you. My concern is that, I mean, we have to laugh to stop from crying, but my concern is, like, when again, it's just like the Richard Irvin thing. If it was a Spike Lee joint, I'm okay. I'm not okay, but I'm okay. But to know that they get to be laughing and participating and being like, ha, 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 ha. I do. If you want to stay at a slave cabin, I do think it should become with some stuff where somebody be like, give me your wife.
It's going to be just like that is. And what's going to happen is they're going to look at it and our people going to go and put it on Instagram, Snapchat, say this is how to get it out the mud. Look, you know what I'm saying?
But that's my point. I feel I told y'all, like, I do feel like because we're so disconnected, I do feel like you will see somebody throwing a party here. Like, I do not doubt that very soon, somewhere in the universe, and that's why I just feel like we can't be playing around with slavery. It's just you just don't get no options for it to be cool in no way, shape, or form. Because somebody is always going to take it to the next level. Now watch, it's going to be somebody like Tekashi 6ix9ine going down there talking crazy. And then we going, right? Anyway. The pain and suffering of black people is always used for the profitability of everybody but us. Ruthie, I must tell you that today you were the Salim Muwakil philosophical leader of the show.
Oh, thank you, Maze.
Because you hit on some points that I straight up did not think about. But I think that ownership of your own narrative component of it, ooh. Right? Because I keep telling you, I always want to go to one of those plantations. I just feel like I be hearing. Like, I know this sounds so crazy, but Ruthie, I truly feel like I hear black people when it's quiet in New Orleans. Like, and the funny thing is, as I'm tripping about the Airbnb, how many of the buildings that we operate in, like, every day, are places that the souls of our people scream from. Like, when you go eat at every like, I literally feel like when you're on Bourbon Street and it's those cobblestone streets and all of that stuff, and you go to that place, what's Louis Armstrong Market or whatever, and it really feels like this was a place where they probably had the slaves all around this. It's like I feel in tune and in touch. Now, I don't always like that in tune and in touchness, but I cherish it, right? That I feel like there is a connection to my ancestry. And I feel like that is a complete disrespect of the connection to our ancestry. And I do think it is completely the epitome of America and our trauma, still profiting off of it. Whether it's anti-violence, whether it is mental health, whether it is police, at the end of the day, they figure out a way to profit off of our pain and suffering. Look, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. This got heavier than I thought. I did not intend for it to go this way, but it's okay because that's why we do what we do. So I'm gonna go on somewhere and get my spirit right, cause y'all done made me mad. Not mad, just contemplative. But for Maze, Riis, and Ruthie, this is the Maze Jackson Show. Every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case, he was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you can put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milk is so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milk is so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put the Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, it's a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milk is so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milk is so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.